morning, Sammy. Welcome to the show. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
20 years old.
Okay, and are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yes, I am.
And what are your pronouns?
He, him.
Okie doke. Today we're talking about how God's not that into you. And the reason I say this is there was a guy who wrote a book of, about a decade or so ago, and it was, he's just not that into you. And it was basically telling women that men give you all the signs to let you know that they're not into you. They don't call you back. They treat you like shit, whatever. And I kind of feel like that. How God is in the Bible. He's kind of letting, especially women, know he's really not that into us. What do you think?
I highly doubt that.
Okay.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Sound like you said, I don't know about that.
I highly doubt that.
Oh, highly doubt that.
So what would be your reasons for doubting that, if you please share with us?
So,
oh, you're on Teacup. We can't hear you when you're not on in the app active.
Yeah, so if you leave the app, your audio disconnects and we can't hear you. So if you have a secondary device to pull up, you could use that, or if there's a specific scripture, we could look it up on your behest.
okay, I'm sorry.
That's good.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. So,
But you went off the app again. Whenever you swipe away to look at something, we can't hear you when you do that. That's like right now.
okay, I'm sorry. No, let me go to the scriptures.
If you want to tell us which one, we can look it up too.
All right.
I'm trying to power down my screen. Yes, you guys, I promise I am paying attention. I just was trying to save and power down, okay? I'm not playing Animal Crossing while I talk to you guys, I swear.
Not the Animal Crossing.
It's all powered off, okay? I didn't save before I started getting ready.
Go to 1 John 4:8.
1 John 4:7-8, beloved. Okay, not 1 John 4:7-8, just 1 John 4:8, which is, actually I could just tell you, it's beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Am I right?
You're correct.
Yeah, that doesn't tell me that he actually, see, abusive men have looked me in the eye before and said, I love you. And then shown me with their actions that they did not, in fact, love me. So God can proclaim he loves me all he wants, but when his actions show me that he does not love me, especially as much as he loves men, then I think he's just not that into me.
Wow.
A husband who beats up on his wife thinks he does it out of love. Love is a very subjective thing. It is not objective or universal.
But showing me you're into me, like if you're a God and you're like, hey, I want everybody to love me, then I think that what you should do is like be nice. And God is just kind of mean. Frankly, he's just like really mean, actually. And everybody always thinks like, well, in the New Testament, he gets nicer. Well, first of all, why should I have to wait for a New Testament for him to get nicer? The fuck? Like, why wasn't he just a nice God to begin with? And then second of all, he's not really nicer. He's just packaged nicer. It's kind of like they did a rebranding, if you will. And I've fallen for those rebrands before. You know, it's still the same old Oreo cookie, no matter how you package it.
So, in Revelation, when Jesus is about to return, do you believe there is a second coming of Christ?
Oh, I don't believe in this God or this Jesus. So no, I don't believe. First of all, Jesus already came back. Christians always forget that he resurrected and came back and walked with people and saw doubting Thomas. So that was his second coming. This would be his third coming.
No, there's no third. I'm going to be calm. There's no third coming. The scripture says
he came when he was born, then he died on the cross, and then he came back to life, and he walked with the disciples and a bunch of zombies, and they did Thriller as they were like walking down the street or whatever, and this would be his third time. Because I can count. I know that Christians like to have new definitions, but you guys can't change math. Because math is math, and 1 + 1 + 1 is 3.
there is no third coming.
Okay, so Jesus did not come back and talk to doubting Thomas and resurrect. Okay, good to know. So you guys, Jesus did not resurrect from the dead. He's still dead, and he's going to come back. He did not defeat death, actually, then, because it was very imperative that he raised from the dead after 3 days in order for him to defeat death. But apparently, according to Sammy, Jesus did not resurrect. So sin and death has not been defeated.
And so that would also mean that when Jesus was talking about defeating death and taking the keys to Hades, excuse me, I'm talking, sir. That would mean that when Jesus gave his sermon outside of what they called the gates of hell, this temple to Pan and other pagan gods, but it was specifically Pan was the patron deity of it. That would mean that when Jesus gave that sermon outside of this temple, and the people colloquially believe that this was the gates of hell, that would mean that Jesus lied. That would mean that Jesus was making some sort of false claim that he was going to come back from the dead, but then never did. And then
no, he didn't, because this is only going to be his second coming, Sammy said, and this would not be the third time.
And then why would Jesus say it himself then? Why would Jesus say, I'm going to come back?
That's literally what the Bible says. Every hour.
Yeah, but it never says seconds. It's just that Christians can't count. It just says he's coming back, and Christians go, "Yay, it's his second coming!" But it's not. It's his third, and you guys always negate the second time he came back. You guys, you want to say he did that without counting it, and it's weird.
It's almost like this book wasn't written for us. It's almost like it was written for them.
Also, Revelation was brought up. I'd like to say that the book of Revelation was a book that was everything okay, Crystal?
I just like to have my little poofy ponytail up here. I hate when it's too loud.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So the book of Revelation.
Look it. This is basically a mirror for me all morning long. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead. I digress.
I have a laptop in front of me. I read a book called Interpreting Revelation by this lady author who I can't recall, but I can pull it up on my laptop if necessary. But the scholars will, for the most part, unanimously agree, unless they have some sort of Christian apologetic sway or agenda, where the book of Revelation is wartime propaganda. It was discussing the war between Israel and Rome. There were two of them, actually. And it also discusses the destruction of the temple. It uses allegorical, hyperbolic language that is intentionally meant to be perceived in a metaphorical, symbolic way. It's not meant to be interpreted literally. And the Christians who interpret it literally are part of the reason why the world is falling apart, because you guys are trying to usher in the end of the world.
And I muted you, Sammy. Whenever somebody else talks, I'm going to ask you to mute, because for some reason when the other guests talk and you're not muted, it gives this very weird submarine feedback, and we can't really understand what they're saying. So whenever somebody else is talking, if you'll please mute up, Sammy, I'd appreciate it.
To just add on to what Robin was saying, so apocalyptic literature is really curious piece of literature. We see it a few times within the Jewish religion. And what it is it's a very specific type of literature that was being written during a time when a people's nation was going through something absolutely horrendous. We see that book in the book of Daniel, for example, with the reign of Antiochus. And then we see it again with the book of Revelation in terms of Nero, and the reason why they had to write it so coded the way they did in terms that we can't understand. Well, we're starting to understand today, but they would have understood back then, was because had they been found out to be writing this literature, the literature would have been destroyed and they would have been condemned to unalivement. Apocalyptic literature has nothing to do with modern times, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 4,000 years in the future. It's specifically literature written for those people in that time going through something heinous.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
It seems like you didn't really have an answer for anything. That was kind of unfortunate.
No, but I don't know why I picked on him about the second and third coming, but for some reason, it really always bugs me that Christians say that he'll be coming back for a second coming, and it's like, but it's his third. Like, why do you guys always, it never even says in the Bible second. That is not a number the Bible says. It is a number that the Christians teach. But dude, he already came back when he resurrected. This would be the third time. Like, just,
I feel you on this.
I know we make up words. Huh?
Because I feel you on this. I actually agree, because there is nothing new about this New Testament. This shit is over 2,000 years old. That's the Second Testament. You know what I mean? Like, these Christians are not wanting to call things what they are.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy to me. So anyway, you guys, I want to talk about some, I'm going to promote myself for a minute. Okay. Again, this is Crystal still depressed. That's why Crystal barely has any eye makeup on this morning. And my eyebrows look funky. Okay. This is taking everything I can to not just sit and play Animal Crossing 24/7 and hide in my bedroom for the rest of my life. But the only reason this is happening is because I have a new diagnosis, and we're working on getting me the appropriate treatment for the new diagnosis. And if you've ever been a person with mental health issues, in between diagnoses, in between medication changes and stuff, you know that it's just a time that really fucks with you. It really does. So it's been fucking with me, and it is what it is. But I'm doing the little steps it takes to, pull myself out of this shit. I'm so tired of feeling depressed. I just don't want to fucking feel depressed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually a really positive and happy person underneath it all. And that's who I want to be. And I always feel like my depression is pulling me to go like, no, you're not. The whole world is fucking horrible. Crawl into your bed and never come out again,
The most important thing to remember about a diagnosis, and this is coming from personal speaking, okay? This isn't just me throwing shit in the universe. This is coming from, I went through the same
I didn't hear what you said first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my earphones on, so my phone's probably fucking. It's upstairs.
No. I just didn't hear very well.
The biggest part to remember about getting a diagnosis is not to let it defeat us, because The diagnosis itself is actually meant to help us understand ourselves better. And be like, see, I told you I wasn't fucking crazy.
But it didn't do that, because what happened was I thought I knew what was wrong with me. And when it came back to be something totally different than what I expected, which is fine because I do agree with the diagnosis, by the way. I just didn't understand the diagnosis when I received it, you know. I don't know. It just, and to find out, like, I just felt this, like I've said before, I felt like it was a moral failure on my part for some reason, that I have OCD. I don't know why. Like, what would that have to do with morals whatsoever? But to come to find out, that is a very normal reaction for somebody with OCD when they get an OCD diagnosis. So that was just part of my OCD fucking with me. So that's fun. But so one of the things I did this week is I need to upgrade my computer. We've talked about that for a while now. A lot of people have helped. Every time you gift, it is helping me. I don't care how long it takes. This is the way I'm paying for my computer, is I'm selling things around my house, like locally on OfferUp and stuff like that. And then people have been crowdfunding, gifting, doing things like that. But I also have a very special auction that is going on in my Discord server. So what I did was I went out and bought some vintage, very cool fucking Bibles. Okay, they're very cool. And then when I met with Justin, Deconstruction Zone, I asked him if he would sign them for me, and he did. And so I'm going to show you the Bibles right now. If you want to bid on one of these Bibles, they are on my Discord server. The link is in my bio, and there's instructions there. All of the starting bids are $20. The $20 includes priority shipping with tracking, okay? So this is the first one. And let me read you the little descriptions that I wrote up for him, because they are lovely little descriptions. And there is a bid on one already too. And this is the first time I'm actually, letting everybody know what the heck they are. I mean, I showed them a little bit the other day, but I was just surprised I already got a bid on one. So this first one is an antique zipper traveler's Bible from the early 1900s. So I found out it actually is over 100 years old, because it's from 1900 through 1920. This one was made.
I'm assuming it's a Protestant
So it's
Bible.
a small, huh?
I said I'm assuming it's a Protestant Bible.
Well, it's a King James one. This is a formula. Okay. It's a small pocket traveler's Bible, binding black leather with zip round yap edge. See, it zips all the way around. I'll open it up and show you too in a minute. And its condition is excellent for its age. Very minimal wear on it. Like, there's no torn pages, no dog ears, nothing wrong with the binding. Oh, thank you so much. Those were so cool. Creative Camper, big W, Creative Camper. That was cool. It has the rare zip-up protective binding, which is highly collectible, okay? There's color lithographs that I'll show you inside. It has period-accurate maps and illustrations. It's compact, travel-ready. Illustration style are similar. Holman editions place the Bible roughly around 1900 to 1915. And let's see, it's signed by the original owner and also signed by Justin. So let me open this up. Remember, these each start, hey, still that, at $20, okay? So it has zip, and then cool illustrations.
Very cool.
There's the original owner's little signature. And if I'm not mistaken, his name is on the outside too, was Irvin Bupp. Really cool illustration, lithographs or whatever. And you can see, like, none of the pages are torn or dog-eared or anything like that. And then Justin signed the cover because we want it to be as sacrilegious as humanly possible, okay? So there is a lot of sacrilege, and heathenry that comes with each one of these Bibles. You guys can feel proud in knowing they have been properly hexed by your favorite atheists, okay? All right. The next one we have is this early 1930s. Now, this one's pretty beat up, okay? But I thought it looked really cool and gothic and kind of almost creepy like. You know what I'm saying? This reminds me of like a preacher in a little one-room schoolhouse church building where would use this, you know what I mean?
Yes,
It's really cool to
very
me.
that.
And so inside it has these stars. And I was thinking, you know, they probably got stars for memorizing verses or something, don't you think? Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool too. And it's signed. I'll read you what it says. It says August 21st, 1936. Happy birthday, Blossom. Is I don't know what the hell that says. I can't read the rest, but it's 1936, little birthday. So I'm going to show you something.
Maybe it was meant to be shared by Bubbles and Buttercup too.
Maybe. Oh my God, you're right. You guys, this is a 1930s Powerpuff Girls Bible. So really cool illustrations. But yes, this one's a little bit more, like you can't see the Holy Bible really that well on the side. You don't see it here either. You can see but all the pictures and everything are over on the Discord, so check that out. Also, if for some reason you want to pay me other than PayPal, if you DM me first, I'll let you bid. But I just didn't want a bunch of people I don't know sending me money other ways. You know what I mean?
Crystal
okay, now this
also
one does
Visa, MasterCard, and American Express.
Okay, this next one has a bid on it already, okay? Oh, we've got somebody coming up. Let's talk to them first, and then we'll talk about this later, okay? Hey, Gonzo, welcome to the show. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
25.
Are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
I'm a theist, but I'm not a monotheist.
You know,
Okay, well, we're just
God,
talking about the...
if you
I make an
change your
argument.
name,
I make
if
an
you change
argument
your-
for theology as a whole.
No. I swear to God, man, you change your name and your profile pic one more time, I'm gonna slap you.
All right, but
Uh-huh.
I did.
Who is it?
I did
Who
want to
is it?
engage. I did want to.
Jarl.
Wait, who is it?
Jarl.
Who is it? Oh,
one
no,
of
okay.
my Norse pagan
Uh,
people.
Do you mind engaging on the argumentation I make on?
Sure, go ahead. Let's go ahead and do it.
So I'm a pragmatist utilitarian.
Okay, can you
that
tell me
means?
what that means?
Okay.
Mhm.
So a pragmatist utilitarian is basically if there is a belief or somebody holds a belief or an idea or an ideology or makes an action that is pragmatic and has utility for the individual, either psychologically, physically, financially, has a net positive
Oh, I
effect.
think I heard Yodi talk about this last night. So,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
But
you
I
off.
think-
I just remembered that I did just
Yeah.
hear him talk about it last night. I was like, oh yeah, I did hear him talk about it. I do believe that everybody does make decisions based on, yes, I do believe that.
Yeah, so it's basically that if those actions are those things, then I believe that it shouldn't be discouraged, disbelief or whatever. But I think also in the absence of evidence, all you need to substantiate belief is utility. Because outside of evidence, what else is there? Because if you can prove that something has a net positive effect or some type of usage within the human psyche, then that is enough of a substantiation for a belief in anything.
Oh, and so that's why I don't really talk about the belief of God, but because I do believe that the Christian God actively harms people, especially women, people of color, marginalized people in general. Actually, that is why I talk about it, is because I think it is harmful.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
this specific belief.
yeah, I mean, I can agree with you that, like, in terms of women, Christianity is, like, insane because I make this, it sounds like a joke, but, you know, it sounds like a joke, but it's true. I mean, imagine hearing as a woman that the Christian God loves you, but he gave you a reproductive organ on purpose that gives you horrendous pain once a month and also is susceptible to all kinds of infections and is essentially an open wound. Like,
Yeah.
imagine hearing that a God loves you, but he gave you that reproductive organ on purpose with all those attributes. Like, that's...
Or that you're a man and that your most erotic sexual organ is in your asshole, but your entire community thinks for you to touch your asshole during sex makes you gay and then an abomination.
Dude, I make that argument all the time. I'm like, why would the Christian God... Why? I ask them all the
Also,
time. I don't know what to say.
I was going to throw in the genital mutilation aspect as well.
I mean,
Yeah,
circumcision
that's
has a
another
lot
one.
of positives. Circumcision has a lot of positives, though, you know.
Has a lot of negatives too, though, and it, you know, so I don't know. To require it is ridiculous. To require anybody to mutilate their genitals is ridiculous.
Okay,
but thank you very much.
Can I say one last
don't
thing?
want to talk about. I don't want to talk about genital mutilation today. That's not the topic, and I'm absolutely 100% against circumcision. I have found absolutely no benefits to it. I was told that. I was told that when I was a mom. So I did the research, and the only reason that young boys and young men or whatever get the infections they do is because they're not taught hygiene properly. So if you just teach your children proper hygiene when they're young, there's no need for circumcision ever. There's really not, unless unless a doctor says this is deformed or something like that, and it can hurt you, or you won't be able to urinate properly, or you won't be able to have children or something like that. It's not needed. It's just not. So, okay, back to the Bibles. Hey, Mama Bash, how are you today?
Hey, Crystal, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing good. I'm showing everybody these vintage Bibles I bought, and then I had Justin, Deconstruction Zone, sign them for me, and I'm auctioning them off to earn money to upgrade my computer. So I'm showing everybody the goods right now.
Awesome.
Okay, so this one already has a bid on it. So this one is at 25 already, you guys. And this is, let me give you the description on it. This is a red hardcover, New King James Version, giant print edition. That's what it calls it. But to me, that print isn't giant. You don't know giant. This is not giant. Okay, but it's called the giant print edition. Its translation is a New King James. It is, okay, so this is a copyright 1982 with some 2006 additional content added to it. It does have, let me show you. It does have the original owner's name and information right there. And there are no pages written on, no dog ears. It's in excellent condition. So that's the next one. This one is one of my favorite Bibles. I do not have an NRSV-UE. Okay, we did vintage and antique Bibles for this one. So I did not put an NRSV-UE up. Maybe the next time I meet with Justin, I'll do some of those or some Oxford annotated Bibles or something. But these were all just very special vintage and antique Bibles. So this one, as you guys know, is one of my favorite versions of the Bible. I have two right here. This was mine. I had Justin sign it. And then right after he signed it, I found another one at an estate sale. So I replaced my one that I gave to Justin to sign. So this is called The Way. And it is from the 1970s. Let me give you the information on it. It is a soft cover Bible. And it is the Living Bible Translation. This is an Illustrated Catholic School edition, and its copyright is 1973. This was it's marketed, so they could reach hippies. It's true. It was the hippie Jesus Bible. Okay. So the pictures in it are freaking amazing. I'm going to try to pull up a few. Okay. We have this one. Okay. That one's pretty normal, but it gets better. Like, we have to have the railroads. We have to have the railroads because somehow that means something, right? And then a beach, running along the beach. And then we've got football players. Because we have, and the giant slide is one of my favorite. I think it's in Jeremiah also. Like it's on each beginning of a book has some kind of 1970s photo. See, there it is, the giant slide. So this is one of my favorite. It is called The Way. That is over there. And then last but not least, and let me show you. This one is the Catholic Living Bible. Look at that. It is so nice. Okay. This is like brand new, even though the copyright is 1976. Look at how, you can't see the picture. Oh, there we go. It's
pretty.
They never cracked this open. These were true Christians because this Bible was never read. Okay. Now, the problem is there are a couple of dog ears for book collectors in the back because they set something heavy on it while some pages were, but I'm sure you could figure out how to unwrinkle those. There are some illustrations in here as well, but these are color photographs of the Bible lands. So if you guys want to bid, you could do so over on my Discord. Each of the Bibles start at $20, and that includes shipping. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just having some fun, coming up with fun ways that I can raise money to upgrade my computer. And I thought I was meeting with Justin. I love collecting vintage Bibles and different translations of the Bible, and I thought maybe you guys would enjoy having a fun signed copy from Justin. I mean, if Trump can sign Bibles, Justin can, right?
Most definitely, yeah, for sure. I was just gonna say, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't crack it open because I don't know if everybody's seen this, but some people literally just have display Bibles. They don't actually open it. It's a decoration that they just hang up.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how most Christian Bibles are.
Yeah, I have a Bible from the 1800s that just sits on my shelf. I don't open it or touch it very, very often.
Okay, well, that's a good example. Because that's an antique, I can understand.
Yeah. But the other ones, all my other Bibles, they've got tabs, they're highlighted, they're written. They're used.
I only write in this one, my new revised, but I still have in my collection the Oxford Companion to the Bible, which isn't really a Bible, but the companion to the Bible. I have the New American Bible, large type illustrated, The Way. I have 2 copies of those. And then my parents' New American Standard. I gave up all my Bibles for this. I have to go collect new ones. So I'm going to have to go out to some estate sales this weekend and look for new Bibles for my collection. I don't know, now that I've deconstructed, I've enjoyed buying little religious books. I've told you guys, I have this is the Catholic's Manual. And these little books, if you ever find one of these little books, I saw them on eBay for $250. I think I paid $1 for it. So that's pretty cool.
That's a steal.
And then I got this, which I want to read it. God damn, religion is boring to read. It's so boring for my brain. But it is Science and Health by Mary Baker Eddy. She is the founder of Christian Science. And I want to know what all these tabs are for. Okay, like, I just want to tell you it has really weird tabs. So can you see how it has numbers? But it also has these kind of tabs. And so I don't even understand what the
seen
whole
a Bible with so many tabs. I've never seen a
right.
Bible.
It's
so many.
very weird. It's really, really weird. Here's what they wrote. Bye, Mama Bash. Come back if you want. Well, I don't have ADHD, creative camper. I thought I did, so I used to say, hang on one second. Oh, my cat is getting sick. It is so gross.
My cat,
You
when
guys-
he's about to get sick, he'll go, oh no, Mom, oh no. And as soon as I hear him
Hey,
doing that, I'm
Jessie.
like, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, at least he got off my bed. That was all I was. That's what I turned around. Oh,
That was
dude,
a
all over.
major worry.
If your cat gets an upset stomach or has urinary issues, you can try feeding it pureed pumpkin. I've done that with my cats before, and it does wonders.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
true. We've done that too. It actually does. It does. Okay. I think that he's done. I'm gonna invite Dalton up, see if he wants to hang out with us. Yeah, that was gross. Changed the whole flow of me talking.
Well,
Anyway.
I just noticed somebody had made a bid on one of the Bibles. I mean, that's something.
Was it the red one?
It's the zip up antique one.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. Well, I have to work out how to ship it to you, though, because I have to do something different with you.
So
Hey,
I
Dalton,
was
how are
gonna
you?
say, if I win that bid, let me know what the shipping is, because it will be extra, more than $20 to ship it to me, I'm sure. But we'll figure something
there's
out
ways
if I win it.
I can ship it. I'm a professional shipper, so I know how to ship to Canada for the cheapest ways
Nice.
possible. I'm not joking. I just don't want to offer shipping to everybody, in all the countries, because then it gets crazy for me. Dalton, I was showing everybody that when I met Justin, he signed a bunch of Bibles for me.
Oh,
And I'm auctioning them up to upgrade my computer. So I have like some of the coolest Bibles in my Discord signed by Justin.
wow.
And there's a little video over there too of him signing them, if you guys haven't seen it. But we had fun. It was really fun meeting him. I wish I could have hung out with him and Carnage more. By the way, Carnage, I was trying to tell you in your chat earlier, Dalton, Carnage Asada is his girlfriend.
Carnage Asada?
Yeah. Do you know Carnage Asada, that mod?
I don't think I do. But like I just found out he had a girlfriend, so I sent him a. I don't know how long they've been together, but I sent him a congrats.
Yeah. I saw that on your live. I was like, it's Carnage Asada. The bidding is in my Discord under a special channel, Jesse. It is called Signed Bible Auction, and it's under the community section. So if you probably search Bible in my Discord, you'll find them. And then
Yeah,
each one has a separate little thread.
What
So that
kind
you
of
can
unholy
see all the
guacamole?
pictures.
What kind of unholy guacamole taco temptress are these puns? We're coming up with all kinds of crazy usernames.
I can't wait to get to the point in my career where my autographs become valuable.
Right? I'm like, all right, but at least I know you guys, right? So I get to go like, well, I know. Ooh, Lee, that is so cool. I get to go. I hobnob with like people like Justin and Bible Guy. So as you guys, your signatures get more valuable, I'll just make money off of you guys, okay? Is that fair?
That's fine by me.
The next time I
Hey,
change my
Cam!
username, the next time I change my username, it's gonna be something like Enchilada Enchantress or some shit.
I like that. Hey, holy honkers. Good. You guys, welcome in, everybody. I really appreciate you all being here. I don't have any ops yet, so we can hang out. We can talk. If you guys want, we could talk about some of the sermons I've been working on recently. I really need to work more on the sermons and the podcast because procrastination sinks in when my depression sinks in. So when I get done going live,
I have really
I will be
ADHD, so like the procrastination, I 100%, I'm with you on that.
So I thought I had ADHD, so I got tested finally. I mean, I'm almost 60, Dalton, and I finally got them to test me for it. And after they tested me, found out I have OCD, and I was like, wait, but I'm so confused. Like, I thought, like, all this stuff that I was doing that I thought was helping me for ADHD, like, why was it helping me or whatever? And I'm like, because OCD has a lot of the same symptoms. So you get rumination, you get, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it does affect me a lot like ADHD. And that's why procrastination sinks in. I will get the podcasts out and we're almost done with all the Genesis podcasts being recorded. And once we get those done, I'll be taking a break from the podcast for a while because they'll start coming out by themselves. And I can finish working on the workbook for you guys. We're going to have a little workbook that goes with the podcast so you can listen and color and answer some questions. Because I thought if I was going to listen to a podcast, what do I want to do while I'm listening to a podcast? And I thought I would want to color. That's what I would want to do. I made a coloring workbook.
You
I got
should,
diagnosed with ADHD when I was like in the 5th grade, and the doctors, they put me on some sort of medication, but my mom didn't like the way it affected me because she said I was always doing this bit. Like, I was like, yeah, Mom, I was focused for once.
Yeah, exactly. One time my sister took me out to lunch and she goes, Mom and Dad, because she was 4 years older than me. So I was in high school and she had graduated, right? And she goes, Mom and Dad wanted me to have lunch with you today. And I was like, oh. And she's like, yeah, they want to know. And the funny thing was that this was the thing she was doing, not me. Okay. She goes, they want to know if you're on Brugs. And I go, what? That is really funny because I wasn't, but she was, but I wasn't. And she goes, well, your teachers say you just stare off sometimes in class. And I'm like, yeah, because they're boring. They were so boring to me in high school. And I couldn't, the classes were so boring. I don't know if anybody else had a problem with that, but my focus was so low during high school because who wants to hear again about George Washington? Fuck, I heard about him when I was in the 3rd grade. Why are we talking about him in high school? You know what I mean? Like, it was just horrible. The United States school system in the 70s and 80s sucked. And it probably still sucks. I'm just telling you, it sucked.
in Canada, it was the cotton gin. 3 years in a row, grade 10, 11, 12, cotton gin this, cotton gin that. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. There's so much more to history than the damn cotton gin. What are we doing?
I learned practical math all through high school because they screwed up my transcripts from middle school. And so they never put me in pre-algebra or algebra or calculus or any of that. So I never learned any advanced math. Just adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and fractions and decimals. And I was in high school. And I'm like, bitch, I learned all this.
I thought cotton gin was a woman when I was in high school. I was not paying attention. I was in class with my Bible and not getting good grades.
Did you go to a Catholic school?
No, I just brought my Bible to school every day to read it.
Good
Okay,
little
I think
Christian
that
man.
you were more Christian than me. I don't think I brought my Bible to school, but I might have for a while. There were probably times that I did that because I was a good little Christian girl. I was gonna go to heaven, you know. I was memorizing those verses and oh
Look,
my goodness.
look. You're read your everyday Bible guy, right? But were you? I'm going to set up a whole ass Bible study group at school level because, like,
I did set up Bible studies. I actually
oh
never.
shit, you got me beat then.
I did one time, not for my school, but outside of school. I set up I did a whole pseudo Passover meal for my church.
Oh jeez, yeah, no, I
Wow.
set up a whole ass Bible study in my school. And, yeah.
I set up retreats for my church. I was Mary in the live nativity scene when I was the proper age of 12 too, because we wanted to be authentic. Okay, I'm not even lying. I was probably 12 when I did that. When I rode in on a donkey with a baby in my hands. I'm not joking. um, yeah, so I was also one of those weird little Christian nerdy kids. But I didn't do a lot at my school. Like I did it all after school with the churches. I didn't really do it at school.
I don't want to jump away from the conversation. I had a little thing I was going to add. Going back to the ADD ADHD thing. I remember when I was 5 years old. Quite the scandal. I know this is going to be a little bit scandalous. Our teachers were trying to convince our parents that we had behavioral issues that probably stemmed from ADD or ADHD. And as it would turn out, I remember my teacher's first names, but I'm not going to say them, of course. But my kindergarten teacher, more than half of the class was medicated. And then in the first grade, also more than half the class was medicated. And my parents, they thought that something was up. Both of these teachers encouraged me to get tested. My parents ended up getting me tested, and they said that they couldn't confirm or deny whether I had ADD or not. But they offered Ritalin, and my parents turned them down. As it would turn out, a couple of years later, we find out that both of these teachers and a couple others were making money by telling parents to take their children to the doctor, and then those doctors were giving their own money to those teachers under the table for the referrals of those children.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's because of things like that. I have an aunt who often thinks that people are over medicated, that we think that people have mental health problems they don't and stuff. And I keep trying to tell her, you know, to me, I think that the brain is far more complex than the whole rest of the body. You know, it's just, we really don't understand everything about the brain. And I don't know about you, but my body has ailments, and it has since I was young. Like, there was always something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, stubbed a toe, or I broke my arm in 3 places when I was 5 years old. You're so pliable and bounceable when you're 5 that I should not have broken in 3 places at the elbow. And so I think if the body itself is so easily damaged and stuff, imagine how fragile the brain is, and how could we possibly think that too many people are seeking treatment for mental health? I think not enough. And do we get wrong diagnosis? Yes. It's not easy to figure out because so many things look alike, okay? And you have to work with your team, and it can take a while. But once you do figure those things out, it really, really does help. And I think there's a lot, especially men. Men are not fucking helped enough for mental health at all. We don't encourage them. It's sad. I don't know. It sucks.
Okay, but I have a hot take about that, especially as a trans woman who was conditioned and raised as a male.
Oh, I
Men are
actually
the
know your
fucking
hot take because
problem.
we've talked about this before. And you and I actually agree on this. But I'm going to let you share your hot take because you and I agree on like so many things about these things. I agree. I think that more people need medication, but I agree with what you're about to say too. Go ahead.
Men are the problem. When you tell young boys especially, that you cannot be vulnerable, you cannot cry. If you cry, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to give you something to cry about. If you tell them you cannot cry, you cannot show any vulnerability, the only emotions that you're allowed to be are happy, angry, and depressed. Those are the only socially acceptable emotions. You create people who are emotionally numb, developmentally stunted. You are setting people up to have lifelong mental health issues when you deny your male children the right to have feelings. And that's exactly what happens in our society. Boys cry, girls cry, people have feelings.
It's funny because I thought you were going somewhere else with that, and I'll tell you where I was. By the way, you guys, as long as he doesn't say a slur, you can let him talk. That is one of my fans. He loves to comment on my videos, and as I told you guys all in Dalton's life, it's just engagement. It's free engagement. And every single time they comment, they are just helping Satan do his work through me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I should clip that.
If you were going to talk about how men don't comfort each other when they're depressed, I would agree with that as well.
I thought you were going to talk about how also it's okay to not medicate yourself if the medication isn't working for you. And because we've talked about that before too. Yeah. I know, and that's where I thought you were going to go. And I was like, and I agree with that because I have had medications that have very strong warnings and side effects that the doctor has never told me about. There's one in particular. I forget the medical term, but there's a medical term for it. And it is where a medication will make you feel like you have to get up and pace. Now, I don't know. I know that doesn't sound really horrible, right? Like it does not sound horrible. But I was not told about that side effect. And I was now remember, I have OCD. That's a diagnosis, okay? I have OCD and I was in a horrible depressive state. I was seeking help. I was told to go on these medications. I did what I was told. But remember, I'm not thinking clearly already, and I'm aware of the fact that I am not thinking clearly. When you're aware of that fact, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that means that I will ask people who I love things like, is this normal? Because I can tell that I'm not okay. And so I need somebody else to help judge things for me. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'll be like, do you think that I'm very anxious about this thing. And I know that like meeting people, you should have some sort of anxiety. Do you believe that I'm a normal level of anxiety or am I overreacting? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you ever ask people stuff like that?
Yeah, I feel like that's very normal if you've been in a depressive spell or you're in a altered mental state.
Yes.
Because if you're in that state,
you don't know,
and you're having a difficult time determining what's normal, what's natural, what's typical for you. And so sometimes having an outside opinion can be like, girl, you don't usually do this. Like, you're acting funky.
Okay, so that's the state I was in, and they started me on a new medication. And whenever I would go to bed, I would feel like, and this is how I described it, I would feel like I couldn't breathe. Like I knew I could breathe. I could fucking breathe. I was going, so I knew I was fucking breathing, right? But I felt like almost claustrophobic, and all I'm doing is laying down in my bed, you know? So,
like your breathing is suppressed?
I don't know. Like, I just felt like I was like I was claustrophobic, but I was just in bed. And And so I would have to get up, and I would literally have to walk down the hall and into my daughter's office, and then kind of like walk around in her office, and I would tell her, like, I'm really sorry, like, because I hate to make my kids see me when I'm not mentally well, but she lives with me, so she's gonna see me, right? And I'm like, I'm not okay right now, and I think I just need to come in here, and I don't know, I need to stand up. I couldn't breathe while I was laying down, and I didn't know what was going on, right? And so we would talk for a little while, and once I felt a little grounded or something, I didn't even know what it was that I needed to feel, but I would finally be able to go back and lay down and go to sleep. Well, come to find out that is that pacing feeling. So when they tell you this medication might make you feel like you have to pace, what they're not telling you is that you will literally feel like you're going to die if you don't. Like, that's how bad the anxiety is inside you. I literally felt like I was going to die if I didn't get up and go walk down the hall and then hang out in her stupid office. But I didn't realize it's because I felt like I needed to pace. I just remember feeling like I was going to die. And when I first go and tell my doctor that or whatever, he was just like, oh, well, you know that I'm a professional psychiatrist and I know what I'm doing when I prescribe medication. And I'm thinking, okay, but you're not listening to me that this is a known side effect and I'm having it. And it's a horrible side effect. Like, it is so
Red flag,
fucked to
red
have that
flag.
side effect. Right. So that is when I started looking for a new psychiatrist for real, though. But I did take myself off that medication. So as you and I have talked about before, Robin, medication doesn't work for everybody, and not all medication works for everybody. And everybody has to work with their doctors, do what's best for them, and do what's best for their mental health. And nobody should be saying, like, this what's worked for me, so you have to do this. It's not going to be the same. Hey, Kimberly, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Miss Crystal?
Doing good. Good to see you.
You as well. I just wanted to address something. Well, two things that you said. You know, even though like it doesn't seem like a big deal that you had the urge to pace, that could be debilitating if
Oh my
if you were needing to be able to sit down and concentrate on doing, you know, a task at hand. And number two is, you know, I'm all for going to the doctor when you need to, but a lot of people don't realize that these doctors, they get a kickback off of every single prescription that they write. And they won't a lot of times tell you the symptoms or the side effects because they want to make that bag. They want to make that money. And it's really sad because, you know, medical attention is very necessary, but at the same time, it makes you not want to go because of all the
God. If they're
things
not
they want
listening
to
to you.
prescribe.
Yeah.
Right. They don't listen.
And they do not listen to women, and this has actually been proven from study after study. It's very hard. Women really, really have to advocate for themselves, and please advocate for each other. Listen to me. It's hard to advocate for yourself. So if you can, find a friend and do it for each other. Say, listen, I know you haven't gone in for your mammogram in a long time. I'll call and make the appointment for you. Will you call and make an appointment for me? Because some reason calling and making an appointment for somebody else is way fucking easier than picking up that phone and making that phone call for yourself. So help each other out.
It is. You're right. I mean, women, we're not treated fairly anyway by pretty much all of society.
No.
And I'm a girl's girl. Like, you know, of course I'm in the alphabet mafia, but even if I weren't, like, I would still be a girl's girl.
Me
Like,
too.
and there need
And
to
Ty
be more
here.
of us.
We do. Ty here said something very important too. The other thing is a fully medicated person, it's not a fix-all. It doesn't magically make you invincible. And it's true. And we shouldn't be assuming that just because someone we love is medicated in treatment, that they should be perfect either. Like, I'm so sorry. I am sorry that I have mental health issues. Most of the time, the people that I'm talking to, they have them too. They just haven't had them diagnosed yet. That is the only difference between me and you, who's sitting there without a diagnosis. Because, like I said, the brain is a very intricate thing. You cannot tell me that you survive any amount of time on this earth and you avoid all types of things that can affect your brain. You can't. Like, there's just no way. I just can't see it. So yeah, I think the billionaires have a mental health issues. I really believe in order for you to be a billionaire that you are a hoarder of money, and it has become to the point where it's maniacal, narcissistic, and a mental illness. And I think all of them should be mentally evaluated.
Me too, because think about this, like, and they don't care about humanity either, because if just the billionaires in our own country would give $1 million to the people, like, it could solve this country's problem, but they don't. They just sit on it and hoard it.
And then try to get more.
Right.
Yeah, I would be the brokest billionaire ever because just I'd give it all away, man. Like, I'd have enough that I could live humbly. Like, I mean, humbly, like I'm living now. And then I'd just be like donating it all the damn time because I mean, when you're a billionaire, right? You're at that financial status where you're going to make that back in a year or less. So, what's the problem with just giving it all of it away? Why are you hoarding it? You don't need to hoard it. There's nothing in this world that's going to cost you that much money. What are you doing?
Because for them, it's not about succeeding. It's not for them. It's success isn't good enough. They want others to fail. They want others to be in poverty, because if there is no poverty, then your yacht isn't that impressive. The contrast of the extreme suffering that goes on in the world and the ostentatious lavishness that these people live is intentional. I wouldn't go so far as to say mental illness, but I would say intentional weaponized malevolence. Sure. Do these people know that that climate change is a serious issue, that there's all these issues going on all over the world, and that their companies are destroying the planet? Yes. Do they care? No. I don't think that makes them mentally ill. I think that makes them evil.
I think it makes them a little bit of both. And also, they have a superiority complex.
Yep.
Yeah. I just...
Jesse said, I have a great idea on how they could start to solve hunger, at least on a small local scale. I would like to know more about that. I believe there was a study recently that found extreme wealth causes brain changes. I believe it. And I do believe that if we are going to say that a person who hoards things in their house until you can't walk in, until it's unlivable, and we call that mental illness, how can we not call the hoarding of wealth a mental illness? It is. It's a mental illness. There's no way hoarding that much wealth. Wealth in the amounts. Like, I think that the average person does not fully comprehend the amount of wealth they have. To have wealth that you cannot spend, if you spent money out your wazoo on everything you could ever want until the day you die, and still your children and grandchildren will have that kind of money, that is way too much money. I am so sorry. It's crazy.
Your hoarders analogy actually kind of took me back a little bit, because usually, if anybody's seen the show before, usually the hoarders, you're not seeing things in display cases. I'll leave it at that. It's not like their homes are nice and orderly, but the metaphor still carries, because they could be shoveling this money into a furnace until the day they unalive, and they still wouldn't have it all shoveled in. There
Right.
would be more money. Like it doesn't make any sense.
I like what Jesse said. He said, each one could feed a family for at least a day or 3 if used efficiently. Okay, so also I want to tell you, here's my thing about churches. Okay, let me get those numbers up real quick.
I love
I
it
don't
when you
have them
bring this
memorized.
up. I
Okay,
love it when you bring this up.
how many churches are there in the United States right now, and how many homeless people are there in the United States right now? So, searching the most recent numbers are about 770,000 homeless people right now, okay? And roughly between 300 and 380,000 churches. Okay, so what that means is that if each church in America would just house 2 homeless people, we would end homelessness tomorrow. And you say, but some churches can't afford to home 2 homeless people right now, Crystal. They barely make enough money to keep the lights on. You're right. But those mega churches could house 1,000 probably a month with the amount of money they bring in. The Catholic Church, probably 1 million with the amount of money they bring in. So those larger churches could take on some of that, and then the smaller churches could do something else, like help do food drives or some shit. I don't care. But I am telling you, this is why every church in America should be closed. Because
Exactly.
to sit here, and when Christians come up here and say, Christians donate more money than anybody else, they're not taking into account that they donate to themselves. They donate to their own churches. And those churches make up organizations. And they say, see, we feed the homeless. We house, people, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. You use those for to bankroll other things. The Catholic Church was sued. You can look this up. The Catholic Church was sued for, you know what? The same thing they're always sued for in LA, okay? Not very long ago. And they lost like 700 million or some shit. I don't know, ridiculous amount of money, right? Do you know where the Catholic Church took that money from? Nope, it wasn't from the SAM insurance. I know you guys want to think that SAM insurance covers them. It doesn't cover them for lawsuits this big, okay? They took that money from an organization they started to feed people and closed that down and paid off the debt for their P3DO when they still have billions of dollars in the diocese. So they
Absolutely.
literally took money from the hungry to pay off their disgusting things that they did to children.
Yeah, they don't care about people. I mean, look at that social experiment. I think her name's Nikaylee, the girl that called the churches to ask
Asking for
Oh,
baby
yeah,
formula.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
So about
I was hurt about that. Like, they don't even care about the babies, like formula babies. That really
They don't
spoke
care.
volumes.
and it was even
Did you
worse
notice?
because she had the sound of an infant crying in the background at the same time she
Yeah.
was making the call.
Yeah,
So that made it even worse.
Right. They don't care.
I was just gonna make the comment that the mosques, synagogues, and Buddhist temples had no issue donating diapers and baby
Yeah.
formula to her. The churches did though.
Yeah.
When
That was the wild part.
when I've told this story before. When I was in the Quaker church, I worked for the outreach team, and so when you work for the outreach of a church, at least for most churches, then you are privy to the finances of the churches, because you have to know how much money is budgeted for outreach and where that money goes and how it's to be designated and so forth. So one day a lady called and said she needed formula and diapers. And I said, okay, like, did you want to come buy? I could give you a little money so you can go buy it. Or do you want me to go pick you up some and I could drop them off to you? You have a baby, like, what do you want to do? Like, what's easiest for you? I could get you like $40, $60 and then, you could go get it, or I could just go pick you up some, whatever. And I think she decided to come by and pick it up. And so I just, got her the money or the check or whatever it was. And then somebody found out that I did it or saw me giving it to her, or she came by to pick it up or something. And they were like, oh my God, I cannot believe you did that. She's probably going to go use that money for, rugs and and alcohol and stuff like that and illicit, horrible things. And I was like, oh. And now I felt really like I fucked up. I was like, oh my God, I did something like so horrible. What the fuck did I do? But I've told you guys this before. My pastor's wife, if there ever was a Christian that you go, if Christianity was real, that person's version of Christianity is the version I want. And that was Elda Ann. And Elda Ann said to me, Crystal, God calls you to take care of the people in your community. He calls you to feed the hungry. He calls you to take care of widows and orphans. And those are the things God calls you to do. And that's what you did. Now, if that woman takes that money and she does something like uses it for rugs or alcohol or something, then that's between her and God. That's not on you. You did what God called you to do, and now she has to do what God calls her to do. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Why are all these other Christians judging me? Anyway, it made me feel so much better after talking to her.
Yeah, she was doing Christianity right.
Yeah, she was. I loved Eldan.
Hey, could you drop me down?
Yes, Kimberly, I will. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
About 15
Have a good
years
day.
ago,
You too, sweetie.
I was living in a low income, ADHD, OCD, swirly moment. Take care of yourself. I'm tired. I sound like such an asshole sometimes because I'll do that. I'll be on a one train thought. It's like, I don't mean to be an asshole. I'm sorry. But about 15 years ago, I was living in a low income housing apartment that was ran by the church that was literally next door. It was all one building attached. Now, it was only low income housing for the first year. After that, they jacked up the prices hardcore. And what is also interesting about this apartment is one whole side that's connected to the church has no windows, and it's a brick building. So if there was ever a fire that got started, you were fucked. And they got away with this because they were a church. Any other apartment, they would have been shut down. And they were literally taking advantage of people. But they would tell us, we should consider ourselves lucky that they were, allowing us to live in these spaces. It was horrible. And then years ago, I stopped giving to the Salvation, like years and years ago, I stopped giving to the Salvation Army because I would donate every year for Christmas for the kids. Turns out that they were throwing away toys that they didn't deem necessary for children.
I stopped giving away to them when they started telling LGBTQIA that they could not help them, like, because they get money from, the government to help them with things that they do, like providing housing, food, whatever they do. And at one point they were like, yeah, we will do all that, but not not for the LGBTQIA. So then I was like, oh, okay, well then I don't need to donate to you because fuck you. And so, yeah, I will not drop one penny in one of their little cans at Christmas. Fuck that shit.
Well,
And they're like, now we're we do. Now we help them. No, fuck you. Because you already harmed them so much. And instead of doing a big, huge campaign coming out and saying, we were fucking wrong and we want to help everybody and we should have never done that, and maybe, tried to undo some of the damage you did for all the time that you turned people away. No, you just quietly kind of added to your website or something. No, fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh yeah,
You
the
and your
food
Santa.
hamper program is especially heinous. Like we got told, like this is years ago, keep in mind. We got told that you're actually only supposed to access the food bank 3 times a year. They start denying families food. When there's a single individual that comes in, you get a small grocery bag of some items. That's all they give you. You don't get a box of rice or a bag of pasta. They portion it out into Ziploc bags, which is not food
Oh
safe.
my God. Oh my God. Fuck that.
And when they do get really, really good stuff, they sift it over to the soup kitchen, which isn't accessible for everyone.
We have these places out here. I don't know if you guys have these in Canada where I don't know how to describe it. It's not a food bank. It's more like a food co-op type of program. Okay. And there'll be different companies or organizations that do it. But let's say they'll go, okay, we're going to meet on the first Saturday of the month, or you can come in once a week or something like that. It doesn't matter. It depends on where you go. Like there's one in a town not far from me called Western Eagle, and you can go there and you buy pay $60. You don't get to choose your groceries, but you get a fuck ton of groceries. It's mostly produce. It might be stuff you've never used before, so you might have to go look up some recipes. Like you might get tomatillos, and maybe you've never made salsa verde, so you don't know how to fucking use a tomatillo, okay? But you'll get some tomatillos maybe, and jalapenos and tomatoes and potatoes and onions, and then you'll usually get some lunch meat and some milk and maybe some juices and some snacks. You'll get a lot of snacks and some cereal. All of this in one thing, okay, for $60. You'll get some chicken. You'll get maybe some ground turkey. And I used to do that all the time when I was a broke-ass mom trying to live on a budget. Where I would go pick one of them boxes up and then come home and figure out how to prep everything and stuff like that. People don't know how much these food pantries, these food things are very important to people in the community.
So we had something like that. And it was an amazing program. I volunteered for them for a while too. The problem is the person who was running it got so overwhelmed having to beg for volunteers all the time. And it was just the overwhelming need for food in my community it's ridiculous. We're one of the we're an oil-filled city. There's no reason why we should have hungry or homeless, but we do because the cost of living is so fucking ridiculous. So when she gave it over to a separate organization, everybody thought it would be a really good thing because there would be extra provincial benefits and stuff that could go into it, yada, yada, yada. Way less people are getting helped now than when she was running it. Way less. They did a Christmas hamper thing every year where you adopt a family. So you actually buy the kids toys. You actually buy them clothes. You actually buy them a whole hamper of food. It was an amazing program. And they would get upwards of 300-400 applications a year. And now they only help, something like 100. And then they cut off applications. And basically, unless you're there the second the application process opens, you're not getting a hamper.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's ridiculousness. And those who were quotation mark abusing it were very few and far in between. very few and far in between. Maybe one or two
Yeah,
out of like
people don't even
400
realize.
applications.
It's so crazy when I hear people talk about abusing the system. I'm like, go do it, okay? It's so fucking easy. Do you really think it's that fucking easy? Go do it. Go try to get
It's
a
not.
SNAP benefits card. You know what? You actually probably qualify because that's how shitty California is right now. Okay, so go do it. Go try to, even if you qualify, you want to know how many hoops you have to jump through, motherfucker? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
We
shut
get that.
up. People do not.
We get that shit here a lot too. Our welfare program is called Alberta Works. It is next to impossible to get on that shit. You have to basically hand them over 3 months worth of bank statements, your last tax return as evidence of income. You have to have all your valid identifications, so photo ID, your Alberta healthcare card, your birth certificate. So if you don't have those, you have to go apply for those first, which costs money that
Yep.
you don't have to begin with.
Yep.
If
You're gonna have to find a ride there too. You're gonna have to get there somehow because everything's not online. You have to go in a lot.
Yep.
They make you come into the office a
Exactly.
lot. They know that the more hoops you have to jump through, the less people they will actually have to put on the program. They know that.
If you have a savings account, they make you empty it, even if it's an education
Oh,
account for your children.
Absolutely.
The one thing they did change is it used to be if you had a vehicle on lease, they made you give the car back. They don't do that anymore.
My son-in-law is on, California has their own. California should just be its own country right now because fuck the United States. California has our own programs. So on top of any federal programs that are available, California has programs that are available. So my son-in-law was on the California Medi-Cal, okay? And then had to jump through hoops because he's a trans man. And so right when he got his name all legally changed, Trump went and said, no, fuck all name changes. And so that put him in limbo, where half of his shit was in a legal name and half was in his dead name. And then that made it so he couldn't get medical attention. And then finally we were like, what if we just pay cash? And it was just for dental work, by the way. This is like to get a fucking tooth pulled that is killing him. Okay, we're going through this shit. This is not even trying to get tea or anything, okay? This is literally just to get a tooth pulled. And we're like, I will do a fundraiser. We did a GoFundMe because I was going to just go pay for all his medical dental work, okay? And they said, if you pay cash for this, he's going to lose all his benefits and not qualify for anything. So you can't. Because they would consider us trying to do some kind of fraud.
Yeah.
So, no, we're not going to let you go get that tooth pulled because we fucked up everything with his IDs and made it half in his real name and half in his dead name. But also, no, you can't pay cash for this and still get it done, even though he desperately needs it done. It took forever for us to finally get his tooth pulled. And that's only the beginning of his dental work that needs done. It's just our medical. And by the way, I still need an MRI. I have insurance. I have very good insurance, and I can't get an MRI for my knee. And the steroid shot is wearing off. I was telling my daughter this. Do you guys you guys are so young. Have you ever heard of a movie called Charlie or a book called Charlie about a man who has mental learning disabilities?
No, I don't.
I'm sure they called it something else when the book was written, okay? Okay, so the book is about this man who, and they made a movie about it back in the 50s or 60s or something. It was probably before I was born, to be honest with you. I think it won an Academy Award or something. And it's called Charlie. So if you want to ever look it up. And there's medical advancements that happen that make it so that they can fix Charlie, okay? And so I was telling my daughter this whole story the other day. And so they give Charlie the medication, and he's not that into you, born again. How are you doing? I love you.
Is this
So he gets the...
for Algernon?
Maybe it is. Let me see.
The main character
Is the
Charlie
movie
Gordon.
Charlie called something else as a book?
32-year-old man with an IQ of 68 who works as a bakery and attends special education classes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so the book is called Flowers for Algernon. While the title isn't Charlie, the main character is Charlie Gordon. Maybe they
you're
named
right.
the movie Charlie though?
Yeah,
Okay.
they named the movie Charlie.
That's
The
right.
book is Flowers of
Okay.
Algernon. Thank you. I didn't know that because I think, like I said, I was very young when this all came out. Like the movie is like old as fuck, you know. Anyway, so he gets it. You know, he gets the medical procedure or whatever. But I'm really young when this movie comes out, and at the end of the movie, Charlie is really sad. And he opens up his hand, and the mouse is dead. And I was like, Mom, like, what does that mean? Like, I thought it meant Charlie was going to die, to be honest with you, because I was a kid, okay? And my mom said, that means that it's not going to work. Charlie's going to go back to how he was before. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was really sad or whatever. Anyway, I'm telling you this whole story to tell you this is how conversations with me go, okay? That my knee steroid shot is wearing off and the mouse is dying and Charlie's going to go back to not being able to walk pretty soon. And I'm like, I keep thinking of that as I feel the pain start to come back in because I don't know if any of you have ever had a cortisone steroid shot before, but it's like a miracle. It's like a goddamn miracle. I went from not being able to walk to being able to walk. And now I can feel it wearing off. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go back to not being able to walk pretty soon. So, yeah, I think Algernon was the mouse. And I feel like maybe in the movie, the mouse's name was Charlie, but maybe the guy's name was Charlie. But I don't really remember because I was just a kid.
The main character is Charlie Gordon. The kid's name was Charlie Gordon. Sorry, I got the write-up right in front of me. That's
James, 80% of men need medication and won't go on it because their egos are about as big as their peepees. Or no, they wish, what? I don't know. Anyway, James, you should get medication. That's really what my message is.
So, James, you're not using the fruits of the Holy Spirit, which tell me that you're not, in fact, a Christian. You're just some wannabe poser on the internet who likes to talk down to women. If you can't use the fruits, then turn away from me for I never knew you.
Okay, you guys. So maybe you guys should help me write my next sermon because this is a hard one. And when they get hard, sometimes like I really procrastinate on writing them. And here's what I say when they're hard. They're hard when I'm given very little about the woman. And I don't want to say the same things that I've said about other women. Like, see, another woman that we don't have a story about. Well, we don't have a story about most of the women. So why would this be any different, right? So I'll tell you who I'm going to write about. But I want to welcome up the beautiful Christy. What? She left. Okay, she must have accidentally requested. All right. So my next sermon is on this verse. It's Genesis 35:17. Let's turn to Genesis 35:17. Everybody get out your Bibles out of the pews in front of you, next to the hymnal.
The Bible is way over there.
Because we were really fast. We were searching for that, Crystal. I was going to say because if I don't say my piece on the food insecurity thing, then I'm not going to get the chance to.
Oh yeah, no, say it.
Yeah, so in France, they recently passed a series of laws saying that, let's say you had produce, like oranges, apples, bananas. Let's say they were going to go bad that store can no longer throw that stuff out. It must be donated to a food pantry, a soup kitchen. It has to by law. Otherwise, the grocery
That's
store or
good.
business will get fined. And I feel like I used to work at Walmart, and when I worked at the food side of the store, the deli, bakery, produce, dairy, they would all take all of their stuff, put it in a dumpster that would sit outside in the hot sun for a week. Then a farmer would come and pick that up and then feed that crap to his pigs. That food could have gone to hungry people. That there's no reason why there should be anybody in the United States of America going hungry. We're the richest fucking country in this world, and we could feed everybody. There's no excuse.
I don't allow bigots in my comments, so bigot be gone. Okay? All right, let's turn to 35:17 in Genesis. This is the entire story about this woman. This one verse. When she was in her hard labor, the midwife said to her, "Do not be afraid, for now you will have another son." And the story that we're talking about is the midwife. So that is who I have to do my sermon on. So usually I go in a very specific order on my research. I'll look up the verse that they were, that they came in on. If they have a name, I will look up the Hebrew meaning of the name. Then I will turn to then I will do a synopsis of the story, every verse that they are mentioned in. This is the only verse she's mentioned in. And then I will do rabbinic teaching, Christian teaching, and extra biblical teaching. But a lot of times when it's just a woman that's mentioned that quickly, nobody's taught about her. Nobody has said anything about her. So then I have to build a whole entire sermon of what we can learn about this woman when we look at this story from non-religious eyes. Why did the writer originally bring this woman up? Why is she mentioned at all? Because we know it's to serve a purpose for a man almost every time. So I have to find out what was the fucking purpose of her saying that specific line and not a man, or for it to be said at all. And then I go and have to find a narrative of something that we can learn from who said that, why they said it, and what does it mean, like, basically to us today, basically, is what I do. But you see how hard it is? I'm given nothing there, okay? Do not be afraid, for now you will have another son. She's given just one little story. Rachel is traveling with Jacob when she goes into difficult labor near Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. During childbirth, an unnamed midwife is present. As Rachel struggles, the midwife reassures her that she will have another son. Rachel gives birth, but she is dying in the process. With her last breath, she names the child Ben-Ani, son of sorrow, but Jacob renames him Benjamin. Rachel dies and is buried on the way to Ephrath. So that's it. She's a midwife who's there when Benjamin is born. That's the whole
I have a couple of
fucking
ideas.
thing I'm given.
So one of my ideas, and it would depend on everybody's knowledge of Judaism. There's this belief that when a woman is menstruating, she's unclean. And they have a lot of stipulations for things that women cannot do when they're menstruating. They can't get into a public pool. You can't even sit next to your husband on a couch if she's also menstruating. You can't share a marital bed. There was this belief at that time that blood was unclean. My theory is perhaps they have to have a midwife here because they can't have a male character because only women would have assisted in other women giving birth, perhaps, because they would have viewed it as unclean to them. That's my thinking.
My biggest thing, and this never made sense to me, blood is literally the life source of a human being. Well, that water. But why would the life source of a human being be considered dirty? I've never understood this.
And if it's unclean, okay, wait, I just thought of this, Nick. If it's so unclean, then how come when they have to go clean a house out because it has mold? Do you remember that story in the Old Testament?
Oh, yes.
Sam, you have a bad connection. I'm going to drop you back down. Get closer to your Wi-Fi. We'll bring you back up a little bit. Yeah, so at the end of it, after cleaning the whole house and doing all that, they literally take blood and flick it all over the house.
Yeah, and they do that in the temple too with the animal sacrifices. But it's weird.
So it's unclean if it's from a woman's vajayjay, but if it's from the neck of a bird or some shit, I guess it's okay.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, the
Okay,
ones
bring
that were
Sammy
used
back
for
up.
people's houses. Yeah, the ones that were used for people's houses were usually birds, pigeons usually. But the ones for the temples were usually like goats and mammals, not birds.
Yeah, it's just lady blood that's unclean. And give them all the circumcision foreskin blood. They love that. Hey, Sammy, what's up? What'd you come back for?
So, I was wondering about that question on your board.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know the story about Esther?
You know, I haven't heard Esther's story in so long. But to be honest with you, even if Esther has this amazing story and she gets everything she ever dreamed of, if all a God of the universe can give me is one woman in the story whose life is, good, then it doesn't prove he loves women, because all the other women in the story are disposable. They are breeders. They are used to be cut up and sent out to the tribes of Israel. They are used as spoils of war. They are used for sexual pleasure. They are given over as slaves. None of it shows me a God who actually truly loves women. So one story in the Bible would not change that for me.
Because that's one story. We're talking about one story out of millions of women over centuries.
Wow.
One story over millions of women. Like, you can't even compare that.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, have you ever heard of Bilhah?
Bilhah.
No. Have you heard of Naamah?
Wait, Bilhah, is that Jacob's wife?
Bilhah is given over to Jacob, I believe, and maybe she's called a wife at some point, but she's really a slave. She's first given to Rachel, so she's a piece of property, and she's given from Laban to Rachel. Okay, then Rachel eventually gives Bilhah to Jacob and allows Jacob to grape her until they get a baby from her. Then they take that baby from her. So her babies are not even her own. They're given to, Jacob and Rachel. But that's not enough. This family just fucking loves to treat women like shit, because it doesn't end there, because then Reuben comes in and rapes her too. So that is the family values in this book, by the way. Christians love to talk about Christian family values, but the family that is in the Bible that we follow through the entirety of the Bible is a horrible family who does things like pass women around as property and grape them. I don't want those family values. I don't want that God, and I don't like the way he treated Bilhah or Naamah or the many other women in the Bible who he chose not to give names to. 5% or less of all names in the Bible are given to women. That's not equal love.
And let's not forget, let's go to the very beginning where they just decided, hey, we're just going to write Eve out of the story completely.
What?
I mean, Sarah was worthy of having an unalivement date. She was worthy of a whole ass funeral. But Eve, the supposed mother of all, just they stopped writing about her.
Oh, I only know
Like,
that.
no, well, you show me where they continued Eve's story in the
Well,
Bible.
here's why you don't know about it, Sammy, because the Bible was written to men, for men, about men. Women are an afterthought. They're a prop in the Bible. You don't learn about women because it's not about the women anyway. Those aren't the stories. That's why you learn about the men. That's why we talk about the God of Jacob, Abraham, and Abraham and Isaac. We don't say the God of Mary, Mary, and Mary. And those would be about 3 of the names we would choose because the authors got so bored when they did have to name a woman, they just kept giving us the same names. They couldn't even be original for 10 seconds when they came up with a woman's name. They were like, let's use Mary again. That sounds like a good name. They gave men different names, but women, we are less than 5% of the names, and then we get repeated names. We don't even get originals.
How can this be?
Women were equal to men in the Bible.
Would you feel loved if that was the representation that somebody gave you? Would you feel loved if the God of the universe told people that they could sell you? Would you feel loved by that? Would you feel loved if God couldn't even mention you? Would you feel loved that the God of the universe listed you as property in the 10 commandments? Would you feel loved? Because I don't feel loved. I feel like I'm a piece of property and an afterthought.
I want Sammy to actually sit on that question for a minute and actually think about his answer. And while we're doing that, guys, we've been dwindling as far as taps and shares have been going. So we got 16 beautiful souls in this house. Let's get to double tapping that screen. Tap it like you're tapping ass. If you have to imagine it's mine, that's fine. I'll take one for the team. Let's share it out to at least 5 friends or more and to your discords. If you have no friends, no discords, that's okay. You can hit that copy link button 5 times. That does help boost the algorithm, as well as hit that nifty repost button, because while you're watching, this will pop up on your friends' FYPs. Crystal does have some gift goals. As always, gifting is not necessary, but if you have some spare coin, throw them to your Witcher. She is working on getting a new computer set up. If you haven't checked out her link tree, please go do that. It'll give you links right to the Discord, where you'll see fun stuff like the Bible auction that we are having right now, with signed Bibles by our very own Deconstruction Justin. So make sure there's the Bibles there, some of them. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go check that out in the link tree. And as always,
also we're playing D&D Saturday. We're playing D&D Saturday in the Discord. So check that out too. And my throne link is in my link tree. Oh, bye, Sammy, again. Bye. Come back again if you want. Again.
Yeah.
And I get it, Sammy. I know that there is a book called Esther. I know there's a woman called Esther. I know there's a woman called Ruth. I understand that there are women who have stories in the Bible that don't end up as horrific as all the other ones. But the problem is that that's just not enough, okay? It's just like when an abusive husband, after, abusing his wife, goes out and buys her a new purse. Because, yeah, that actually happened to me, okay? It doesn't do anything for me. It's just not enough. You can't like win me over because Mary got to see Jesus first. What the fuck? That's all a part of the narrative. You know that, right? That was all intentional, right? You know that that's why the author wrote it that way, right?
Oh, but
No,
she
you
wasn't
don't.
allowed
You
to
guys.
touch him. She
Nope.
wasn't allowed to touch
I'm
him, though.
saving my holes for Thomas. That's what he said. He said, no,
Literally.
these holes are only for the men.
Literally.
Would it
It's
entertain
true.
you guys if I touched the Esther thing, or do you want me to just like forget about it?
Oh, you can touch the
Because we can move
Esther
past
thing.
it.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so a couple things about that. So
I'll
Esther,
be right back
she
while
was
you
born-
talk about this. I'll be right back.
Okay. So Esther, she was born in Israelite Jewish orphan, born into exile in Persia. I'm pretty sure her original name was like Hadashah or something like that, but Esther was the name that was given to her later on. She was raised by her older cousin Mordecai after her parents died, and she was a Benjamite. And I think the name of the king in the Bible is like King Ahasuerus or something like that. That's the historical king Xerxes, Xerxes the First. What she did, ironically enough, is like kind of comparable to Jezebel. She's actually the parallels between Esther and Jezebel are actually pretty interesting. The difference is Esther is the Jezebel of God. Whenever it's Esther doing the exact same shit that Jezebel would have done, it's holy and given a pass. When women in the Bible use their bodies and manipulate people for men, it's a good thing. But whenever it isn't being done in the name of God, it's a bad thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like, if God really gave a fuck about Esther, would she have been born an orphan? Would she have been born as a Benjamite in exile in Persia? Like, God used her, and then to make it out to be like Esther had this happily ever after. Who said that she wanted to be married to that loser? Like, we're not like the only way that Esther is a happily ever after is if you don't give a fuck about Esther and you care about all of the things that she did for everybody else, because they don't care about Esther.
It's true. It's very true. All right. So here's what the rabbinic teachings of my. Oh, wait. I'm on the wrong one. I'm on the wrong one. Oh, it's because I fucking asked a question in the wrong place. All right. Okay. So the rabbinic teaching on the midwife has, like, it's so little. Okay, like sometimes the good thing about me doing the research, when I look into the rabbinic teaching, the Christian teachings, the Ethiopian Bible and stuff like that, I will often find things that we just don't ever get in the regular, scriptures. But sometimes I get nothing from them either. They give me nothing. So Genesis Rabbah 82:10 through 11 focuses on Rachel's suffering and death rather than the midwife, but preserves the idea that the reassurance you will have another son reflects a recognition of fulfilled destiny even in death. Some rabbinic readings treat the midwife's word as both comfort and irony. Rachel will have another son, but she will not live to raise him. The midwife speaks truth, but not the whole truth. Ooh. She kind of left a little bit out, but she doesn't know. Does she know that she's going to die right then? Like, how would she know that? There is also a broader rabbinic pattern. Midwives in Genesis, like those in Exodus 1, are often framed as agents present at liminal moments. What is liminal? Do you guys know what that word means?
I might actually have to Google that one.
I'm going to look that up myself. Liminal just means
transitional
in between
state. Yeah, a transitional in-between state or space derived from the Latin limen, threshold. It represents being betwixt in between two stages or places.
Okay, so she might have been. I'm going to talk to Rabbi about this. This will help me a lot. She might be a type, like almost like a type, seeing how like wells are the indication of marriage. So she might be, because she is between life and death, the life of the baby and the death of Rachel. Is that something that was common with midwives? That's very interesting. That's an interesting take. Liminal. That's a
it
new
was like
word.
an intentional. I wonder if, because I'm seeing a lot of how do I want to describe it? Like, I wouldn't say opposites, but a lot of contrast. Like, we know who Rachel is. We don't know who the midwife is. She says that Rachel's going to have another baby. Rachel is, and she's unaliving and she's losing all hope. One is bringing life into the world and one is leaving the world. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of contrast.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what the liminal represents there. So there's also, the midwife is not given identity, lineage, or moral evaluation, which is typical of how the text treats women performing essential labor. Christian teaching. John Chrysostom, I hate his name, I never can say it right, emphasizes the pain of childbirth as part of the human condition, tracking back to Eve. The midwife's presence underscores the severity of Rachel's labor, but is not explored as a character. So he just basically says she's there because Rachel is having such a difficult labor. Okay, Augustine of Hippo focuses on the naming of Benjamin and the theological. Notice how none of them are going to focus on this midwife. Okay, and I know you go, yeah, because she's a side character. All I'm saying is all the women are side characters. So if we don't focus on them in some way, there are no stories about women. You have to fucking dig in and dig, to find them. You know what I mean? Augustine focuses on the naming of Benjamin and the theological significance of Rachel's death. The midwife's reassurance is seen as part of God's providence, continuing the lineage even through suffering. Jerome pays more attention to the name of Ben-Oni versus Benjamin, but the midwife's statement reinforces the idea that life emerges even in the shadow of death. Across Christian readings, the midwife functions as a narrative witness, not a subject. Her role is to affirm the birth, not to be remembered. Yeah, fuck women. They don't need to be remembered. Fuck them all. Now, what I want to do is look at, I like to look up things like the tradition, like how long were midwives employed? Were they usually lifelong? Because if so, this midwife, yes, is bringing Benjamin in, but this midwife has probably brought in many other members of that family too. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of times they were employed lifelong, servants of these families. So Benjamin probably isn't the only person that she's helped bring into the world, Bye, Chica. Have a good day, pumpkin. It's funny because it says, listen to this. It says, this is what my screen shows right now. Chica, he's not that into you for blasphemy against him, lady. Bye. Cry, 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 right? Then it says right underneath that, Chica is a long-time watcher and rising star in your life.
What the hell?
So I've got another fan.
If that's not some fan mail, I don't know what is.
I know, that is just amazing. I love it.
My brain is probably rotted from too much fucking Five Nights at Freddy's, but I just think of that chicken that eats the pizza.
Chica. No,
Yeah, Chica the robot that eats the pizza.
Chica wouldn't act like that though. Chica acts a lot better than these Christians. I mean, so what if Chica's a mass unaliver? I mean, Chica's decent.
Yeah, you guys were expecting me to call out my least favorite of the FNAF monsters.
Who's your favorite?
Roxy, of course.
Foxy's mine.
Who are you guys talking about?
Five
We're
Nights
talking
at
about
Freddy's.
we're talking about the animatronic monsters from Five Nights at Freddy's.
It started out as
Oh,
a,
okay.
horror video game, and then it turned into a movie franchise.
Okay, I knew about the movie franchise, but I've never played the games or watched the movies, frankly. So
My son is
not familiar.
obsessed. My son is obsessed. I'm like, of course you would like, unalive children in the suits of animatronics, unaliving everybody. Of course you would. You're my kid.
I gotta admit though, if I was a
Of
kid,
course.
because I was in the Chuck E. Cheese era, you know what I mean? Like the 90s, early 2000s, that was when Chuck E. Cheese was it. You know, if I would have seen those movies or played those games as a kid, I probably would have wet the bed till I'm 30.
I'm a lot like my kid, and I think that's where he gets it from, if we're going to be totally honest. And I would go to Chuck E. Cheese
What?
every day demanding that Chuck E. come to life. Like, I would be so upset if he didn't. I'd be like, okay, according to these movies, you're supposed to move. Like, let's do this.
Okay, you guys, it's time for me to plug myself. I have a podcast out. It's called Auntie Sermons. We were talking about my next Auntie Sermon that I'll probably be performing for you live here tomorrow if I write it today. But I have a lot to do, so it might be the day after tomorrow. I'm just not really sure 100. But anyway, Auntie Sermons is a podcast where we de-center the men and ask the women of the Bible, all of them, named or unnamed, in chronological, methodical order, to step forward, take the mic, and tell us something about themselves. So we're learning for the first time about all of the women of the Bible, and we are going through Genesis right now. I kind of screwed up the order of Genesis when I performed them live. They will be coming out correctly on the podcast. So check out Auntie Sermons everywhere you used to listen to your sermons at. I stream it everywhere podcasts are streamed. And so go check that out. Leave me a review. Leave me a comment. I love the comments. That is dopamine for me, you guys. I love it. And argue with people in the comments, because Christians like to comment on my stuff too. And you can have fun with them and argue with them. But yeah, go check out Auntie Sermons, my podcast. Also, check out the Bible auction over on my Discord. Christina, the Godless from Girls Gone Godless. By the way, go listen to that podcast too. I happen to have an episode over there. Do you know what Jaron said? Do you know what Jaron fucking said today, Nick? Do you know what fucking Jaron fucking said today, Nick?
Oh, gosh, what did he do?
He said, and I quote this, that Girls Gone Godless was the funnest and best interview he has ever had.
Oh, okay, it wasn't fuckery he was causing. All right. I was like, what'd he do?
No, but what am I, chopped liver? He's been on Decon Q&A with CrystalJae twice now.
Oh, you know what?
I'm just like fucking chopped liver. I am not just kidding. They are very fun. So make sure you guys listen to Girls Gone Godless, because they are the funnest people to interview you. I've been interviewed by them. Jaron's been interviewed by them. That's Christ Before Jesus over here on the TikToky lands. Joel and Mezzo were interviewed. It's a two-parter, but you're not going to find out shit about them because they won't shut up and answer any real questions, okay? But if you want to hear them be just nonsensical, you can listen to their two-part series too. But yeah, go check, and there's many more. Like, there's so many really good interviews. Like, you have to go listen to Girls Gone Godless, and make sure you give them a 5-star review too. You guys, it only takes like 2 minutes to drop somebody a 5-star review, and that review helps us so much, because what happens is when you do like a podcast or something, whether it's Spotify or iHeartRadio or whoever you're on, right? They just put your podcast out there. They don't help you. They don't do anything. Once some people start listening to your podcast, they don't go, oh, people are listening, let us help boost. Nope. When they start seeing 5-star reviews, they go, somebody liked this podcast enough to leave a review. Let me try. Let's do some test audiences now. And they'll start bumping your podcast out into certain demographics to see if they help you, if your podcast will take off. But they won't do that if nobody does any engagement and nobody leaves any 5-star reviews. So that's how podcasts take off, is by people listening to it, but also engaging with it. Just like any other form of social media, you got to do the engagement. I adore you, Christina. I had so much fun with her. I hope I wasn't like, because I'm very quiet and nervous in person, and I hope I wasn't weird because I know I am kind of weird in person, because I'm much less weird if we're just me and you hanging out, like I'm just myself more. But when I'm in like a group, especially if I feel like I'm supposed to make sure everybody is, getting along, everybody's fed or whatever, like I feel like I act weird. I feel like I don't know how to act is what it is.
I was just going to say really fast, for anybody who's interested, you can also follow Crystal on other platforms like Jacked, Grindr, Scrub, BGC, Christian Mingle, and blackpeoplemeet.com.
Well, you were perfect too. I wish we had more time, and I can't wait for me to, like, one time I'm going to come up north. We're all going to hang out. We're going to have a little 420 time, and we're going to just like really chill. I want to do that so bad. So I am going to plan for that. And pretty soon I get to meet the wonderful Rabbi Hannah. I'm going to take her out to lunch, not Saturday, but a week from Saturday. I'm going to go have lunch with Rabbi Hannah. Okay, I'm going to get the boxing gloves ready. So, yeah, we don't have any ops right now. I'm sorry I'm not getting pushed out, but it's because there's a lot of real cool people live right now, and I haven't been live for a while, so it takes a while for me to build up my audience again and start getting people in here again. But I'm doing my best, you guys. It's so hard to not just crawl into bed with my 3DS right now and
I mean,
drink Dr. Pepper all day.
I could pretend to op again, but I find it really scares people when I do it because I'm too damn good.
It does. It
Like,
does.
yes.
You make me want to cuss you out.
Pentecostal for 16 years. I mean, I can hear this. And everybody's like,
we could start
wait,
this one.
Did he flip? What's that one?
This is the origins of life. I could start reading this one. You guys could tell me where it's wrong. We did the fossils one a little bit. You said an invite to Jaron? Yeah. You know what? And I am his kid's favorite grandma, okay? Because I cuss. And she thinks I'm cool because of that. So he better fucking straighten it up, okay? Because I'll make his kid tell him what I'm going to do. Okay. Wait, I'm trying to make it, if I just, wait, come on. I had it for a second. There, there's the earth. Okay. To the student. The subject you are about to study in this module is the origin of life. This topic has been pondered by scientists over the centuries, and many believe that they have evidence to support their views. Yet no one was there in the beginning to see what really happened. Laboratory experiments have been conducted to see if these first elements and hypothesized compounds could ever have been produced even in the smallest evidence of living substance. The government has spent billions of dollars in search of life on other planets. On the other hand, there are scientists that are analyzing all of these data from a special creation point of view. They are asking pointed questions that relate to the intricate design found in living substances and even man. The arguments that you will encounter are clearly scientific and must be considered with an open mind. Yeah, these are going to be clearly scientific. You will find that this module doesn't attempt to balance the data to make one side equal to the other in space. However, every attempt has made to bring forth scientific criticism to bear on the subject. This was done in order to call your attention to the importance of a critical examination of the data. To help you, we are showing our little investigator as he goes about examining the basis for various assumptions. The data are clearly stated and scientists' views that are significant are included. You will be the judge. Which model fits the data best? And again, we are going to go ahead and assume that there are only two models. They're not even bringing up Joel's wet box in this book. This cannot be actual science without Joel's wet box. I don't know how anybody can take this science book serious.
What year was that one written in?
This is like 1980, but let me double check. It is hogwash. Right here, it's hogwash. This was
I haven't
first
had that.
edition,
I haven't heard
1979.
hogwash in a minute. I haven't heard no one say that in a minute. And here in Missouri, we don't say
Absolutely
wash, we
works.
say worsh. Hogwash.
Oh my God, Robin, I have to tell you the funniest story about that. My sister-in-law, she grew up in California, so this is not because of anything regional, okay? But she used to say "warsh," okay? And I started making fun of her one time, and I have learned this horrible thing about me. If I start to mock somebody or something, the way something is said, I fucking start saying it that way. And for like the longest time, I could not stop saying "warsh" when I wanted to say, like, I'm going to go do the wash. I would go, I'm going to go do the warsh. And then I would go wash. I'm going to go do the wash.
Yeah, I remember growing up, sitting over at my friend's house, being like, "Hey, I'm about to go take a shower. Can I have a washcloth?" You mean a wash rag? A wash rag. A wash rag.
Wash rag.
It wasn't
All
even
right,
that.
here we go.
They say rag. What's a rag?
I don't know. I don't say that. I did used to say washer. Can you go put in the washer? Like, and that is why I actually like to say things wrong. Wait, I also like to say things wrong to people who I know it'll piss them off. Like, okay, like my kids, like I like to fuck with my kids a lot. I really fuck with my children a lot. My son and his wife love the, I don't know, do you call them DJs or do you call them groups or do you call them bands? What do you call them? But anyway, they like Above and Beyond. Do you guys know that group or whatever? DJ or whatever? Whatever they're called now, group, I guess. Do you guys know who Above and Beyond are? Yeah, you never heard of Above and Beyond?
Oh,
Okay,
like I've heard people say
they're
you're going above and beyond, but like.
No, it's a group. It's a group, like it's called Above and Beyond. So just to fuck with them all the time, I'll say stuff like, "Are you guys listening to Bed Bath and Beyond?" It's like I never call it Above and Beyond. I call it Bed Bath and Beyond every time. I'm like, "Oh, is this Bed Bath and Beyond playing right now?" And like, "Mom, shut up." But they know that I know what the real name is, but I just won't call it the real name ever. I do it like, you know, when my kids were little, and you know how like they'll have a little crush on somebody, I would purposely like say that person's name wrong just to like, you know, goad them a little bit. Oh, did you talk to Bobby today? It's not Bobby, Mom. You know. I was the mom who, I think I've told you guys this before too, that, you know, when you cut like cake or pie or something and people will go, that piece is bigger or something like that, right? And they'll complain because like they think you didn't do it evenly or something. So I'd go to cut some pie or cake or something, and I would go to hand it to them, and I tried the best I could, obviously, to make them all equal, you know, but you're eyeballing that shit, right? And one of my kids inevitably would say, why is theirs bigger? And I would go, because I love them more. Like, what? I thought you guys all knew that. And then,
Because you love them more.
like, this is not news. Obviously, that's my favorite. And then my kids would go, shut up, nuh-uh, and they would get all upset. But I told my friend who's a psychiatrist that once, I told her that I did that to my kids. And she said, oh my God, I'm going to tell all my patients that, because that's what your kid is saying when they say to you, why is that one bigger? They're asking you, is it because you love that other kid more? And you're just telling them, like, right out, like, yeah, that's why, you know. And then when the kid stops and thinks about it as you're saying it, they realize, of course, she doesn't love them more. Like, that, you know. And it would always be a different kid, too. So clearly, I'm not. Last time Mario asked me why Demir, oh, I shouldn't be saying names. Well, last time this kid asked this kid, and now this kid is asking about that kid. So obviously, it's random, you guys. I don't mean to give anybody the bigger piece.
Well, I mean, subconsciously, you might be. I'm just
Maybe.
legit, sorry.
I also sometimes send a message like into the family chat, and I'll say, good night, everybody, especially to you, my favorite kid. You know who you are.
My mom did something similar with us. It wasn't in a group chat though, but it took us a minute to catch on to what she was doing. But me, my sister, and my brother ended up having like pretty firm argument because we all found out, you know, we were talking, and it's like, no, Mom literally told me in private the one day that I am the favorite sibling. And then we all started figuring out that she told us all the same thing. And we were sitting there arguing over the fact that her mother just trolled us, like making us feel like we're the special one in the group. It's hysterical.
Our family chat is ridiculous. When I first started our family chat, I really didn't know whether my kids would use it very much, because I always hear people your guys' age complaining about their family chats and how much they hate having to respond, and then we're talking to them. But my kids actually really love it, and they're so funny in it, and it makes me really happy. But like, yes, I'm supposed to be going camping for my birthday. We've decided it's not going to be camping, but we are renting a big Airbnb where I showed you, Nick. And so instead of camping, we're getting a big house together for, 4 or 5 days or whatever. And I started thinking my son and his wife might really like to go out for an evening or something, just the two of them, while we're all there, able to watch their kids for them, you know what I mean? Because we're never around them. So grandma and grandpa and all the aunts and uncles will be in that house. They could take off and feel completely safe, right? So I sent them a message. I said, I just want you guys to know that if you want, you guys could go, like, I'm sure it would be really cool if you guys could go, like, get a bottle of wine and go have a nice, meal or something, and Uber back and not feel, hang on one second, I gotta let my dog out. Here you go, buddy. Come on. Come on. That you guys would feel like better knowing that your whole, family is here to watch your kids while you go do that. And I said, but I'm only watching their kids. Nobody else is doing it because I have boundaries. And the reason I said that is there are no other kids, okay? Like, none of my other children have kids yet. And so then my daughter comes in and she goes, well, I need somebody to watch my husband one day. And I said, well, then you're going to need to ask your siblings. And my other
Wait a minute, hold on. Did
daughter
you say I need
said,
somebody to watch my husband?
that's what my daughter said. She goes, well, I need somebody to watch my husband one day. I'm not saying his
my
name.
God.
She said his name. And my other daughter said, I will only watch him and nobody else because I have boundaries. And I said, okay, well, who? And then we were like, wait a minute. Is this all a play so that my daughter and my daughter-in-law could just sneak off and have the bottle of wine instead? And, you know, and so this whole thing became this convoluted story and that's how they do family chat in my family chat. They're still going off on it. Like it's just, you know, ridiculous conversation now. There's no rhyme or reason for any of it. Pandemonium.
Siblings will siblings.
Go to bed. Go. Thank you. Go do it. Go, George.
Crystal, unfortunately, I have to draw.
Okie doke. Well, thank you for being here. I love ya.
Yeah, I love you too. Much love. Take care, everybody. Take care, Robin. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, or I'll talk to you later on Discord.
Fingers crossed.
I love my family chat, Tahir. It's so good. It's just like one of my favorite things. And like I said, I didn't know. I thought, oh, my kids are probably gonna like never really use this, but they're cute. They like share things in it, and we have a joke. Like when one of us is traveling, I would say, let us know when you get safe to your hotel, right? So whenever we go to a hotel, we send the family chat a picture of our safe in the hotel. And then we tell them we're safe at the hotel. So there's a lot of pictures of safes in my family chat from when people travel. That's just our way. Or, you know, not every hotel has a safe though. So sometimes we have to go, I'm safe at the hotel, but not technically because there's no safe. So that happens too sometimes. We're just weirdos. We just really are. All right. Robin, are you ready to tell me where this book is wrong?
Oh my gosh, I can try my best. I will admit, I am in the middle of a Pokemon battle, but I am actively listening.
All right. Okay, cool. Because in about 30 minutes, I'm going to go play Animal Crossing while I eat lunch. So there you go. Okay, perhaps you have read the stories or watched the TV news reports about the search for life on Mars. When you see the pictures of the barren craters on the moon or the rocky emptiness of Mars, maybe you have wondered why our planet Earth has been blessed with such an abundance of living things. Okay, first paragraph already is using Christianese because why are you saying blessed? Like, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, what were conditions like on Earth when life began? No one really knows. In fact, billions of dollars are being spent to satisfy man's inquiring mind concerning the origin of life. Hey, Mr. Richard B. Bliss and Gary E. Parker, how much money has the church spent on propaganda? Just wondering. Okay, sorry.
That's most of their revenue because nobody's coming there without the propaganda.
Right? But we're searching for answers and you are just spreading propaganda, okay? The majority of scientists today think that life originated by natural processes of chemical evolution.
Actually, that's not bad.
Okay, I had to really process that. Did you see me? The little gears in my head were spinning.
I saw
like,
the
wait,
map. I saw the map above your head.
I have to do the math. I don't trust them. Okay. But a growing number of scientists think that all life was brought into being by supernatural acts of special creation. That sentence now, I have to Google that. I have to Google. I'm gonna AI that one. I'm sorry, I'm gonna AI that one. My book claims, this was also in 1980, by the way, that a growing number of scientists think that all life was brought into being by supernatural acts of special creation. Was that true in 1980, and is it true today?
Yes, so true. Obviously not.
Supernatural creation. That claim has been a talking point for a long time, but it doesn't match the scientists actually believed in 1980 or today. No, it is not true. So I should highlight all the lies when I go through these books, but I'm gonna go through them again with Vice one day. So I've got to spend some time this week and get them all sent over to her, so her and I can do a live all on these books. What we're gonna do is go through the books and she's gonna teach me where the lies are. Okay. So in our study, we will approach the origin of life from a two-model point of view. Again, this is just a fallacy. It's a false dichotomy. Okay, that's the fallacy that it is. I'm learning things, okay, from all you Philbros out there. The origins of life and the origins of existence, of where the whole universe came from, are two different things, first of all, okay? But also, it's not just two things. It's not just God created it or, the universe is forever. That's just not true. That is not the true dichotomy. And that is why philosophical arguments like Joel's Wet Box are so important to us, because it shows us that there are definitely other ways that life could have come into existence and that the universe could have come into existence. So anyway, it's not a two-model system. That's not the correct way to look at this. The answer can only come, which model fits the data best, evolution or creation? The answer can only come from our own critical, he keeps doing this, and I notice a lot of Christians do this. The origins of the universe existence and evolution are two different things, but he keeps conflating the two, where everything originated from and evolution of life are two different fucking things.
And to add to what you're saying, a lot of Christians have misunderstand that, well, we're talking about fossils in this instance, but if we're talking about Big Bang cosmology, a lot of people have the idea that this is the origin of the universe, but that's not true. This is just the starting point for where we know the heat expansion of the universe. It's not the beginning of the universe. No scientist
and he's probably
is going to claim that there's any. Yeah, no scientist is going to claim that there's a discernible line in the sand. This is where the beginning began, because they don't have. There's no
actually
to substantiate that claim.
They did a survey at one of their big conventions. Okay, and so like it's not a study, because I like to clarify that it was a survey done of all of them, though, like all of the leading people who were alive, because they were all together for a big convention or whatever. 68% said no, the Big Bang doesn't say anything about the beginning of the universe. That's not what it means. So Christians who claim that are just being ridiculous. Okay, the answer can only come from your own critical analysis of the data. Yes, you will have to finally decide for yourself on this all-important question. There is little value to you in having your teacher and anyone else make this decision for you. Your reasoning will be most important, and your views on the subject may not agree with others. When a person looks at the origin of life from a two-model approach, they're doing it incorrectly. Oh, that's not what the book says. approach he or she finds an exciting challenge. The whole idea involves sophisticated detective work, but even more challenging is the opportunity to examine some of the exciting data now in hand. This module will involve much of the current information, principles, arguments, and experiments that can be brought to bear on the origin of life. You will be asked to examine the data and give your opinion based upon the evidence available. Do these data seem to show that evolution could or could not have occurred? Do the data seem to show that a supernatural designer was or was not involved in creating the first living organisms? Again, evolution is not the same as origin of the universe. He just keeps conflating them. So here we go. The scientific approach to the evolution and creation models. The creation model, like the evolution model, is subject to a degree of experimentation. It can be used to explain observations and to make logic predictions concerning new discoveries within the rules of science. How can we gather scientific data in favor of a creation model? The most natural and reasonable approach is to determine how an object created or designed by man could be identified apart from an object produced by nature processes. Consider a television set, a landscape painting, and an automobile as an example. We know enough about copper wire, oil paint, and gears to know that these objects could not make themselves, no matter what amount of time was involved. Scientists can likewise look for evidence of creation in the kind of design found in the living things. Not all examples of apparent design or complexity point to a designer. Snow crystals, for example, seem to have a beautiful and precise design, yet scientific studies show that they are the result of water molecules doing what comes naturally according to their inherent properties. Evolutionists believe that living things like ice crystals aren't living, right? Am I stupid?
Water is like, there might be microscopic life in the water, but water isn't alive.
Right, but them themselves are not living. What the fuck? Have only the kind of design that resulted from time, chance, and the natural properties of the molecules involved. Chance had nothing to do with this. This is a horrible book, and I want you guys to understand I have zero science. Like, I barely passed high school science, okay? What the fuck are you talking about that living things like ice crystals? That shouldn't be a sentence. And then to continue on and say are a result of time and chance. It's not chance. It's cause and effect. Okay, people like me who believe in things like an eternal universe, a possible infinite regress, that we have evolved naturally here on Earth and so forth. None of this is chance to us. We don't believe this is random or chance. We believe it's a series of cause and effect due to natural causes and natural effects. But not all examples of apparent design. Did I just read that one? No. Okay. But not all examples of apparent design are complexity pointed. No, wait. Is this? Yeah, I did. Okay. So when we compare the evolution and creation models, we must always be trying to answer the question: is the design determined from the inside by time, chance, and natural processes? Again, not chance. Chance. Nope. Sorry, not chance. And natural processes, or is it determined from the outside by a creative agent putting molecules together according to a plan or purpose beyond the ability of the molecules themselves? No, I don't think that's happening. I'm sorry, I do not think there's some designer up there putting molecules together, okay? I don't think that's happening. You guys, I'm going to be live for 27 more minutes.
I was just going to say, the implication of that is very problematic, because we've heard the scriptures about how God knew you in your mother's womb when he formed you, before you were ever born, all that. That means that your intelligent designer, creator God made people born with deformities, fucked up, children born with cancer, children, not just even humans, but also animal life too. You know, like it.
Yeah.
Not a very perfect creator. no perfect creator would create imperfect creations. That doesn't add up.
Okay, here's the questions, you guys. If you're in chat, please comment in the chat. If you're over on YouTube, comment. I want to know the answers to these questions. Let's see how good a detective you are when it comes to examining evidence for evolution or for creation. Below are 2 rock formations, okay? Oh, I gotta make sure you guys can see it. Hang on. Okay, you're gonna have to hide the chat for a minute so you can see them. Because I can't zoom in for you. Okay, we're going to talk about them though. I'm just reading, I'm sure you'll be able to figure this out. Below are 2 rock formations, each made of alternating layers of hard and soft rock, and each with the same appearance of design. No, we're not poisoning the well by saying that in the question, are we? Looking somewhat like a man's head, like some formations in the southwestern desert. Which formation seems to be the logical result of time, chance, and the natural processes of weathering and erosion? Again, why does this man keep saying chance? I don't believe in chance. What the fuck? Why do they love to shove stuff into it? Well, I don't know enough about science, but if there was going to be natural erosion, would it be soft rock on top and then hard rock and then soft rock and then hard rock and then soft rock and then hard rock? Or would it be hard rock on top and then soft rock and then hard rock and then soft rock and then hard rock? Does anybody know? Anybody good with geology? Because I would say both formations look like a man's head, but one pattern of hard and soft rock was cut by weathering and erosion, and the other was carved by an Indian craftsman, which pattern must have been purposely created. I would say that and it's not Indian, it would probably be a Native American but I would say that he would have to.
Oh my gosh, I thought that
carve.
I was just gonna say that's a telltale sign, like that they said Indian when they didn't say Native American or Native Indian or something else. Because I thought we were talking about India for a minute.
Nope, we're just talking about bigotry from them. I'm gonna ask. I really don't know what he wants for an answer here. So I'm going to look it up. Thank you for the octopus. By the way, I'm going to be live. I know, Zombified. I'm such a fucking cheater. For about 25 more minutes, unless we reach the gift goal, then of course I stay live for an extra hour. But I know I don't have ops today, so we're doing the way Christians teach science. I'm not going to call it Christian science because that's an actual different thing. But we're doing science based on Christianity. Okay, so it's setting you up, okay? Okay, so A would be natural processes, okay? B would be design. That part is fine on the surface, but here's the trick. They are pretending if something looks designed, it must be designed, okay? And here's the problem with that, okay? They will use the watchmaker's fallacy, and they'll say, if you were an indigenous person and you just walked along a beach and you found a watch, you would know that that was designed, okay? Because you would see all the intricate details and so forth, okay? All right? And why would you know that? Like, if you just take one more step in that conversation, think about what you're saying, you would go, because it doesn't look like anything in nature. And that's why we know that nature is not designed. That's actually why we fucking know that nature's not designed, is because of the watchmaker fallacy. Because if I can pick it up and look, And it shows exactly like, oh, wow, this is nothing I would find in nature. Somebody had to design this. It's because nature is not designed. It's just not. Which formation seems to be the logical result of creative design, for example, of the Indian craftsman shaping the hard and soft rock into a pattern unlike what natural processes alone could produce. If you found that molecules in living things were arranged in concept like the hard and soft rock in formation A, would you conclude that living things were created by some special creative agent or that they evolved? Like, this wouldn't tell me anything. These rock formations, for me, would not make me go, oh, this proves evolution or it disproves evolution. The rock formations don't do it for me. I don't know why they're conflating this with evolution. This just shows erosion. This doesn't show anything else to me, really. What the fuck? Am I missing something? If the molecules were in the shape of a person's face, they might have.
This point would actually not be a bad one if we had some sort of super ancient device that no human had context for. You know what I'm talking about? Like, if human beings were just like out in the wild and then we discovered some sort of strange otherworldly machine and we're hunter-gatherer people, I might then be led to think, oh, there must be some sort of creator. Like, that would make sense. But the watchmaker analogy doesn't work because we know people make them. Like,
exactly.
You have to provide some sort of example of something. It doesn't have to be inorganic or an invention necessarily, but like if you're going to try to make the case for intelligent design, you need an example of intelligent design that can't be explained. You can't just pause it or push your premise of there being a creator on the idea, because that's not how this works. That's illogical.
Okay, you guys, it's going to get bad here. The structure of living things. We are now ready to examine living things the same way you just examined the rock. I did examine the rock, sir, and the things you said about it, and they didn't prove anything you said, and so far it isn't helping me see your side whatsoever. Do we see within these living systems the kind of design that could only have been caused by an external architect? Or, on the other hand, do we see the kind of relationships that result from time, chance, and natural chemical processes? Again, sir, I don't believe in chance, sir. So, let's prepare to investigate these questions about life's origin by first reviewing what living things are made of. Now, this is the part where I'm going to go, I don't fucking know if he's telling the truth or not, because I don't know what living things are made of. But we'll see.
When you said you don't believe in chance,
okay, I do agree.
I'm curious to pick you about that.
Yeah.
Because
okay,
I would kind of agree in the sense that I think that, well, I believe in karma and dependent origination. I believe in the law of cause and effect, and that everything that comes in and out of existence only is able to do so because causes and conditions were meant for it to exist in the first place. So in that sense, I don't believe in chance. But like, you could posit from like a mathematical perspective, for example, of the like abstract idea of chance, right? Like if we like we're doing calculations, for example. Okay. I was just wanting to be on the same page.
Yeah, so when I say I don't believe in chance, I just am saying that, like, I believe, okay, for instance, if I roll a dice right now, I believe that whatever I do, there is a cause and effect to what that dice will land on. Do I know what all the causes and effects are? No, it could be the amount of I don't want to say wind, but air moving around in the room I'm in when I roll that dice. Is there anything on the surface
humidity of the room?
Right,
yeah, like the humidity of the room itself, your health, how you roll it, the size of the dice, the weight of the dice. Yeah, there's
exactly.
factors.
the weight, is it weighted perfectly? Has it been calibrated? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, is that I believe that there are things that are actual real causes and effects that do those things for me. Now, I've talked about this before too, and I will die on this hill. I will die on this hill. At least right now, I do not believe at all that there is any way for a computer to randomize anything with true randomization. Okay. And the reason is because you have to program a computer to tell it how to randomize. So you might program it and say, 1 out of every 32 million times we want you to land on the jackpot. 10 out of every 100 times we want you to land on a 4 of a kind or whatever. But you have to program it. So when I'm playing that game, it's not actually random. It's programmed to act random, but it's not actually random. Okay?
Yeah, like the only way in this hypothetical the computer could be random is if we did like a data from Star Trek and it became sentient. That would be like the only way it could.
Right. And then if we so here there are true RNGs, but they rely on internal input. Ooh, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look those up now, because every time I look this up, there's like debates on, but I haven't heard one that explained true RNG to me, Jesse. So I'm gonna have to go look those up. I will say that I don't think most computer games and computer apps that we have right now have any true RNG. So when I say that, I mean even gambling machines, okay? And I have had so many programmers tell me that I'm wrong about this. But when I bring up the random, then they have to agree with me on that. So I don't know how I could be wrong about what I'm going to say next. So if most games and most computers that we use right now do not have true random, they are based on a program and an algorithm, then I think sometimes because of our abilities to spot patterns as a human, that's one of our best things. Like, I don't think people know that that's why we have so much cognitive dissonance, why we have so much bias, is because we're pattern seeking beings. That's what we do, right? I think that sometimes when you're playing video poker, slot machines and stuff, if you pay attention, you can see patterns in the algorithm, and you might end up a little bit more on that. Now, I'm not a gambler. I don't go gambling all the time, okay? But when I do gamble, I play video poker, and I watch for patterns, and I almost always walk away a winner. Am I a jackpot winner? Not usually, but I'll walk away with a couple $100 almost every time. Almost every time. I never lose more than $40, because if I start to lose, I don't play. But I've had people tell me I'm totally wrong. None of that's true.
I was going to say, I've said this before, but every species that is alive today has some sort of superpower of some kind. It depends on what animal we're talking about. If we're talking about like a mantis shrimp, they're able to clap their hands together and create a miniature BOMB in the water to hurt predators. When it comes to snakes, they can coil or they have venom. It doesn't matter what animal we talk about, but human beings, our superpower is pattern recognition. So much so, we recognize patterns in places where there are no patterns, and our mind tries to fill in the blank. If you've ever, an experiment you can do is if you cover one of your eyes, your brain will often fill in the gap of what you should be seeing with your other eye. Your limitations to vision, for example, your mind will often fill in the blank by perceiving what it thinks it should have seen instead of actually seeing it. It's very strange, but in order for human beings to survive, we had to know that fire burns us. We had to know what berries were poisonous. We had to know what animals we could and couldn't hunt. And if we didn't, we didn't survive. Human beings do this all the time with nature. In ancient times, whenever there would be flash flooding, these people didn't understand the rain cycle. They didn't understand that this wasn't punishment from the heavens. This was just a natural phenomenon.
Hey, Yala. Yeah, no, and I talk about, well, I've talked about it before. Pattern recognition is just really cool to me, and I think that it's one of the things that a lot of times can be detrimental to us too, okay? Because especially when you're a Christian, you will see patterns in the text or in your life, and then you will associate them with things that have to do with God or whatever. I joke about how much I've changed since I've left Christianity, about how I used to attribute things to God because I would recognize those patterns and assume that they were about God or whatever, and then realize like, oh yeah, no, that's not what that is at all. So, like recently I told you guys a story about how my daughter called me and she was like, oh my God, Mom, I almost got in an accident. And I said, oh my God, honey, what happened? And she said, I pulled over. I'm off the road right now. Zach is coming to meet me. But there was this person that was, driving down the road or whatever, and they were behind me and they collided. Like they got in a major accident behind me, but I feel like they hit me because my car jolted forward. And I said, oh, well, that's really weird. And she goes, but I got out and I looked and there's no damage at all to my car. And I said, she goes, but I flung forward just like I got hit. Like, I really think I got hit. And I said, let me look something up. So I looked it up and I'm saying, I looked up to see if the impact of two vehicles behind you could create enough air force and cause you then to be actually pushed forward due to that, happening directly behind you, especially at, you're on a freeway. So the impact was at higher speeds, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a 20 mile per hour accident, right? So I looked that up and I don't know why my light keeps going out, but I'm almost ending anyway. So we'll just sit in the dark together. So I looked it up and sure enough, they were like, yeah, absolutely, that can happen. And I realized in that moment that there was definitely another Crystal that would have said before, oh my God, an angel or Jesus must have saved you. But this time, because I'm not a Christian anymore, I was, I went straight to what makes sense, physics and science and what could have really happened, instead of going towards the supernatural. But we misread patterns as Christians to mean something supernatural, and it's detrimental to us. It really is.
And I mean, sometimes I get it too, because if you did not know what epilepsy was and you believed in something like demons, you could come to that conclusion easily.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that's had sleep paralysis many times before. It's terrifying. When I was younger and a Christian, I thought I was being tormented by demons. Now I realize it was just a medical condition. It was all in my mind. It had nothing to do with any external forces.
Bye, Jesse. See you later. Thanks for dropping by. All right, you guys, I'm going to get going too. I know it's just a few minutes more that I should be going, but my knee is getting a little bit sore. I'm getting a little bit hungry, and Quincy is at my door. That's one of my kitties, and he really wants in, and so I'm going to, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm staying. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys. If we reach the goal, I'll give you an extra hour this week on another day, but I'm going to go eat right now. Don't forget, we have the Bible auction going on. I don't know yet. I don't know what I have out there. I'm not going to go anywhere. I think I'm going to owe Jesse an hour right now because he's making it rain octopus. Don't forget so I don't know what I'm going to eat. I don't think I have leftovers
not the octopus.
Now
I'm hungry for octopus.
I have Bibles for auction that are signed by Justin Deconstruction Zone. If you love Justin Deconstruction Zone or you want a cool vintage Bible, the auction is over on my Discord, and it's raising money to help me get my computer upgrade so that I want to be able to take callers over on YouTube. Hey, Zach. So it will be easier with me. I will be able to see. I will have more screens. I will be like, I will be a grown up. Meanwhile, also, I'm trying to reach 10,000 followers over here on the YouTube on the TikTok by my birthday. My birthday is June 29th. So if you're not following me, drop me a follow. Share my content with a friend and tell them, hey, follow my friend because she's trying to reach 10,000 followers. Help me out, you guys. Let's get me to 10,000 by June 29th. Okay, I'm sitting at 7,000 something. We're getting close to 8,000. Help me get that other 2,500 by June 29th. I love you guys. I will be back tomorrow. And you know what, Jackie, Jesus Christ hated women. I'm sorry, Pumpkin. He did not like women. And that's just the truth, okay? But if you would go and read your Bible, you would learn about that. You don't have to pray for me. Don't be a prapist. You know what a prapist is? It's somebody who prays without consent. And I don't want you to pray for me. So don't pray for me. Instead, Jackie, go read your Bible and learn about the women in the Bible. Okay? And go
Jackie,
listen to Auntie Sermons.
I was going to say, Jackie, I think Jesus Christ also loved a naked boy in the Garden of Gethsemane, too. It's funny how Jesus Christ's love for everybody else seems to be really different.
Little bit. Anyway, Jack, I love you. Jackie, I will think for you. I can hear that in his voice, too. He's probably going, I will think for you. Yes, Chaos, I would love it if you did that. I appreciate you, as always. You guys, I love you. I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you around the mean